this. All right. Really? What's the second one? I'm going to do complete collision first. When does complete collision come up, did it say?
See an accident? Report it at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
The humidity is high and will stay high all day long. Skies will be mostly sunny and temperatures will climb to near 90 degrees this afternoon. Overnight temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Tuesday and Wednesday are set to be warm and muggy as well. The next cold front will then move through on Wednesday afternoon. This front will bring with it some showers and storms capable of heavy downpour, gusty winds, and frequent lightning. There's even a chance that some of these storms do become severe, so the WBRZ weather team is always tracking the latest on air and online at WBRZ.com.
This is Mornings with Brian Haldane. Who are you? Brian! Brian! I'm really Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. News and newsmakers.
Well, really?
And contemplation. Traffic and weather.
I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours and I still don't know why.
Good morning. Great day in the morning, people. Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Start your day with Baton Rouge's hub for information and opinion.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion.
Here is Brian Haldane.
606, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Good morning, everybody. Brian here with you, Jake producing. We call it Mornings with Brian Haldane. We are off and running on this busy, busy Monday morning. Got a stacked up guest list for you today, as we try to have every single day. Richard Condon's going to be by in half an hour. I would love to tease what he's going to be talking about, but the nature of the segment is I'm not supposed to know ahead of time. We call it Condon's Countdown, though it's never really a countdown. It's only like the top thing he gets to. It's supposed to be like the top 3 topics. We never get past the first one. Anyway, that's coming up at 6:35. Get your work week started off with a little bit of fire from Condon's Countdown. At 6:52, Jimmy Frederick from the Knock Knock Museum is stopping by. I know we have a few different things to talk about, but it's time for the rubber duckies. So that is going to top that agenda as well. Also, let's talk a little bit about the reopening of Knock Knock since the shutdown from the pandemic and whatnot. Knock Knock went to extraordinary lengths to get themselves reopened again. And how's business? That's at 6:52. In the 7 o'clock hour, Dr. Melanie McKnight is going to stop by from Our Lady of the Lake. It is our Medical Monday segment, and we are talking about the opioid crisis with Dr. Melanie McKnight. It seems like we can never get too far away from that as a topic, which, as long as it continues to dominate the headlines, we will continue to cover it right here. Then Stephen Waguespack from LABI will be on board. Oh, so much to talk about with Stephen. I'm sure we kind of recap his road tour from last week, as LABI and a number of other outlets have been trying to drum up support for the upcoming November 13th election, where there will be 4 constitutional amendments on the ballot, 2 of which we actually care about. Those would be amendments number 1 and 2. Amendments number 1 and 2, the governor has signed off on. In fact, he had to sign the legislation that was passed back during the legislative session that put them on the ballots in the first place. Both of them are common sense initiatives to move us forward when it comes to centralized sales tax collection and lowering our overall income tax. We'll talk with Stephen Waguespack about that and a whole lot more at 7:35. At 8:15, Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute is going to be on board. This is an interesting topic that I don't know if I've fully wrapped my head around. New policy report unveils millions in seized private property. Wait, what? Yeah. The Pelican Institute is taking a look at a new policy looking into Louisiana's civil asset forfeiture laws. we're going to have to dive into this one a good bit. Daniel Erspamer will be by at 8:15. I believe he's going to be in studio, traffic permitting. And then at 8:40, we have got Jodie Sweetin. Got the chance to interview Jodie Sweetin on Friday. She's got a new show out. I should say show. It's not like an ongoing show yet. But she's got a new special out just in time for Halloween called Celebrity Exorcism. And this is a heck of a lot of fun. And just full disclosure, it is already recorded. It will not be a live interview at the time. But it's her and Meta World Peace. You might remember him as Ron Artest. Her, Meta World Peace, and, who's the, Shar Jackson from Moesha. So they go around Los Angeles exorcising places with bad vibe. Maybe some hauntings and whatnot. Anyway, heck of a lot of fun on the interview. Got the chance to talk to Jodie Sweetin, and you will hear that at 8:40. Plus, we'll have the latest on COVID-19. Plus, we have the latest on the top stories in trending, the outside in, and Jake will have this day in history. Now, leading things off, LSU football still has games remaining on the schedule. If you're anything like me, it's going to be very, very difficult to get up for any of it. LSU football is off this weekend, mercifully. But after this weekend, we'll come back next weekend and play Alabama. At Alabama. Which means the next time they're at home, I believe it was November 13th against Arkansas. The next time they're at home, LSU will have probably back-to-back losses with a bye week in the middle. No telling what's going to happen or how bad it's going to be at Alabama. Yeah, LSU, the next time they're at home, they'll be versus Arkansas on November 13th. Then versus ULM on November 20th. And then I believe they are home against Texas A&M. So after a week off and then Alabama, and then knowing you got three more with a lame duck coach, I'm curious, is the level of interest in LSU football going to be at maybe not an all-time low, but a generational low for three home games? Three, honestly, winnable home games? That performance at Ole Miss was... it was garbage, to be sure. Well, garbage is strong. Having trouble reconciling the fact that Ole Miss is just outside the top 10 looking in, and very well should be in the top 10. Having trouble reconciling that with how close LSU was on each and every play to making something fantastic happen. And then, not. And if that's going to be the case, and, well, depending upon how badly the outcome is in Tuscaloosa, what's the level of interest going to be to round out a home schedule back to back to back? Arkansas, ULM, who's winning, by the way, and Texas A&M. Are we going to see things just absolutely plummet when it comes to Tiger football? We'll chat about that a little bit later on in the show. Quick break. When we come back, let's talk sports. Actually, rather than recapping LSU on Saturday, which we'll do a little bit of, but rather than that, let's look ahead to tonight. The Saints are at Seattle. They are coming off a bye week. We'll be talking about it next. Before we get you to that break, though, got to tell you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. They've got two locations. You'll find them on Plank Road in Zachary. You will find them on Perkins, just east of Bluebonnet, right here in Baton Rouge. What you're going to find at both locations, same great service, same great knowledge, same great certification. More than a dozen manufacturers' certifications. Ford, Honda, Acura, Nissan, Infiniti, Hyundai, Kia, Fiat, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. All of them signing off saying these guys know what they're doing. The certifications from the manufacturers, in other words, is like saying the people who built the cars say this is where you need to take your car. That's enough for me. It's where I'm taking my car. It's where I have taken my car. And you can too. Put a phone number in your phone right now. 768-9898. 768-9898, or learn more about those certifications and more at CompleteCollision.com. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. All right, I got to run right downstairs. My Red Bull is in the freezer because it wasn't cold at all, so hopefully it'll be good to go. I'll be right back.
Why don't you take your fishing game to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boats? Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for nearly 30 years, and the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That, my friend, is the National Marine Electronics Association, meaning at Front to Back, they are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics. They do this through how they train their installers, interface standards. The bottom line is they are always pushing the technological limits while keeping you safe. And look, when you're talking about the fall and the winter, you're talking about the perfect time to do any yearly maintenance that you need done. Finally, put in the parts you've always dreamed about, and that Front to Back Boat Service, they do it all. So find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service, or just go in. See them at 221 North Airway Drive, Front to Back Boat Service. They do it all.
Take your shot for 100 bucks. Shot for 100 is now for all y'all. Louisiana residents roll up their sleeves and get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine at select locations or receive a $100 Visa gift card while supplies last. Visit shotfor100.com for hours and locations where you can get your vaccine and take your shot for 100. That's shotfor100.com. Brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Health.
Hey there, what are you doing today? Would whatever it is be easier with faster, more reliable home internet? If you said yes, we have good news. Viasat offers high-speed satellite internet wherever you live, even if cable providers don't go there. So you can get online today and tomorrow. Go to viasat.com/internet now and save up to $150 on select home plans. That's viasat.com/internet now. Minimum 24-month service term. Service is not available in all areas. See viasat.com for additional terms and conditions.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
No trouble for those early bird drivers right now. I-10 and 12 cooperating very nicely. 6 minutes off Delta College through that 7-mile stretch. The Plaquemine Ferry is in service this morning, so no trouble there. Let's send you outside to check the temperature here. Not steady place. You might notice some crews setting up some construction materials and maybe clearing out some debris. Overnight, there will be lane closures through this stretch as the interstate is quiet.
See an accident? Report it at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills. Hey, this is Ken Coleman from the Ken Coleman Show. You can listen to me weeknights.
Morning, Renee. Morning, Clint. Hey, morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo.
Flavor of talk in
All right. .617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is sports time. We're going to start with the Saints for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is looking back on LSU's loss at Ole Miss. It would be nothing but Monday morning quarterbacking. I mean, honestly, I'm having trouble not fixating on going for it on 4th and goal from the 3. I'm having a lot of trouble not just kicking the field goal or the decision to not kick the field goal. And here's why. At the time, you thought it was going to be a shootout. At the time, you thought, take the over. I don't care if the over's 100. It turned out not to play out that way. But you had not one, but 2 defensive stops. If you could capitalize on points on both of those, knowing you were getting the ball to start the second half, then you've got nothing but momentum, and you have yet to show Ole Miss any reason to have hope in that game. Walk right down, touchdown. Walk right down. You get a field goal out of it, you've gotten something out of it, and you're up by 2 scores, which is going to change things. You get a stop, or let Ole Miss get a stop on 4th and goal, and now, like, boom, there's your life injected into the Ole Miss Rebels and the fan base as well. So let's move on. Saints are back in action tonight after a bye week. They are facing the Seattle Seahawks. Steady rain is expected tonight in the Emerald City, and New Orleans will also have to contend with the 12th man, Seattle's vocal fan base. Wide receiver Marcus Callaway says they know it's going to be a challenge.
They're going to have the home field advantage just because the weather and just for the crowd. You see it every week when they play, and we just go in there and We practice. We try to implement the practice with the noise and stuff, so we can get a feel for it, like we do every week on the road. But this week should be special.
It is one of the more intimidating, more impressive environments in pro football, darn near a college football environment, if you will. Saints will not be squaring off against Russell Wilson. He's out with a finger injury. Geno Smith, however, stepped into quarterback last week. Seahawks will have two terrific receivers out there, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Quarterback Paulson Adebo says, giving a scouting report, it's going to start with Metcalf.
He's a big, fast, physical dude, quick, right? Seemingly has all the attributes, so definitely good receiver and somebody that you look forward to competing against.
And I guess same with Lockett.
Yeah, just a smaller version, but still quick, fast, and run all the routes to take the top off the defense. So really got to have good eyes when you're covering them.
You can hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. For the Saints end of the broadcast, for the Monday Night Football end of the broadcast, I believe 104.5, 104.9 will pick up coverage at 8 p.m. Let's go ahead and get you to the Fox Business Report. Renee says, I'm looking slim. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. Definitely not feeling it the last week, though. It's after throwing my back out. Haven't been able to work out in a week. My body probably needed the rest, though. So,
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning
oh, there we go.
changing the lives of early learners everywhere. ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much. Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to
My Chanticleers dropped one on Saturday, damn it.
free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Sponsored by Age of Learning. Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, over the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than picking which true crime doc to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password, or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
There we go.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
No trouble for those early bird drivers right now. I'm headed 12 cooperates very nicely. 6 minutes while Del College. Sure, that's 7-5 Fred. The Plaquemine Ferry is in service this morning, so no trouble there. Let's send you outside and check on our camera here around City Place. You might notice some crews setting up some construction materials and maybe clearing out some trees. Overnight, there will be lane closures through this stretch as the interstate gets widened.
See an accident? Report it at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
Six 623, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. So, Mayor's office sent out a press release on Friday. City Parish finalizing first pass for Hurricane Ida debris removal, shifting to the second pass. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broom announced today meaning Friday, The city parish debris removal crews are finalizing their first comprehensive pass in collecting storm debris generated by Hurricane Ida, with more than 800,000 cubic yards of debris collected to date. Debris removal crews will soon shift to their second, or in a few areas, their third and final pass. Whoa, 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 whoa. Areas are getting a third and final pass? So if you're one of those lucky few, and I assume it's only a few, although looking around Sherwood, it's a hell of a lot more than a few. If you're one of those lucky few who has not yet gotten a first pass and has had your debris out since, what, September 1, you got to be feeling really left behind at this point, right? Sound off on our YouTube page. How long has your debris been, if you've not yet had your pile removed, how long has your pile been out there? Like, did you get your you-know-what together immediately after the storm? And do you still have it left to be picked up? It's kind of weird. The neighborhoods I've driven through, and honestly, that's anecdotal. I don't make a comprehensive pass through all of Baton Rouge every week. But the neighborhoods I've driven through, it's weird to see how it plays out. Like, you'll see 5, 6, 7 houses in a row where they've still got the little, dead grass stain out there, but you can tell that's where the debris was. And then you'll see 3 more with, like, clearly dead debris that's been sitting out there. Wonder, did it just get missed? Did the truck fill up and they not make it back in time? Why some and not others? Let me know on our YouTube page. Do you still have a pile that you're waiting on? And yeah, ours was out, I want to say August 31st, if not September 1st. Just sitting there, like a lot of Sherwood. So debris removal crews will soon shift to their second, or in a few areas, their third and final pass. More than 40 debris removal trucks and haulers are currently active in East Baton Rouge Parish, focusing heavily on the southern part of the parish and the neighborhoods most significantly impacted by the storm. During the second pass, city parish environmental specialists and debris monitors will continue assessing damages on every street in impacted areas and directing trucks to collect debris removal piles. Here's another question for you. If you've still got your debris pile out there, are you shifting towards just throwing it away? Just throwing it in the garbage? Getting rid, remember how right after the storm they put out the whole list of here's what you do with your individual piles. Of course, you got your normal garbage, you got your normal recycling, you got your appliances or furniture or whatever. You've got your woody debris, and then you get your bagged stuff. Like, at this point, storm rolled through August 29th and 30th, right? At this point, are you not just saying, you know what? I've got room in my garbage can on, my pickup's on Monday and Thursday. Got a little room left over in my garbage can on Monday and Thursday. I'll just start filling up the rest of the garbage can until the pile's gone. City Parish asked us not to do that, but it's October 25th today. We are 4 days removed from 2 months removed from the storm. At this point, are you thinking, well, they're already making their third pass. They don't know I have it. They've missed me. I have been forgotten. I'll just move it over. I'll just get rid of it. Easy peasy, right? Residents should organize their storm debris into piles, says the city, which we just went over. But at this point, are you still doing that? By the way, for more information and to track the street-level status of the various passes crews are making, they've got a website up. It's brla.gov/Ida debris. Ida debris. You can get a look at what's been picked up. I'm not sure how accurate it is, though. CBS News coming your way in just a little bit. Before we get you to CBS News, want to ask you, have you made your lunch plans yet? Brian, it's not even 6:30 in the morning. I know. Never too early to start thinking about a cheeseburger on a Monday morning, though, right? Which is why I tell you about Mooyah. Love me some Mooyah burgers, fries, and shakes. I also love hearing about when you've gone out to Mooyah and you've had a fantastic experience like Steven did. Steven says, where was it? Went with the classic cheeseburger. Wife with the mushroom iceburger. Staff at the Segan Lane location was very lively, very impressive. French fries are good with about 9 O's. Good. And they are. Steven's not wrong. Steven took his wife Sarah, his son Noah, and his daughter Annabeth out to the Segan Lane location of Mooyah. and absolutely loved it. I forgot to ask him if they rang the bell on the way out the door. Got to ring the bell on the way out the door. Let the folks at Mooyah know when they did a good job by ringing that bell. And look, this is my favorite part about Mooyah. I got 3 kids. Steven here with 2. It's a great place to take the family because there's something on the menu for everyone. Everyone's going home full. Everyone's going home satisfied. Everyone's going home happy. At either location of Mooyah, you get the freshest ingredients. You get, as Steven said, the best service around. At either the Bluebonnet at Highland location or Segan just north of Industrialplex for Mooyah burgers, fries, and shakes. Looking ahead to later on in the week, Congressman Garrett Graves joins us every Wednesday. One of the things I'm going to be asking him about this Wednesday is $65 million in Lanyap federal transportation funds. His office put this out on Friday. U.S. Congressman Garrett Graves, member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, released the following statement after an extra $65,072,000 and change in federal funding was awarded to Louisiana for transportation and infrastructure projects. These announced funds from the Federal Highway Administration build on top of the $1 billion in new grants, formula funding, and reallocation dollars that Graves helped secure through the Fixing America's Secure Transportation Act, the FAST Act. $65 million extra dollars just coming our way, but where? Have they already been allocated to projects in Louisiana? We'll break that down with Congressman Garrett Graves on Wednesday. Louisiana, as a result of that FAST Act, picked up $500 million in transportation funding and benefited from another $1 billion within a grant program. You know, I don't know what the status of the infrastructure bill is or where it's going to be after it makes its way through. But Congressman Graves is doing his level best to hustle to make sure there's dollars on the table either way. All right, quick break for news. Coming back, Condon's next on Talk 107.3. Byron says celebrity exorcism could be the next big SNL hit. Should include regular seances with the soul of Sean Connery. Yes. Yes, you're thinking in terms of like a celebrity yeah, but as soon as I think about that, I think about Norm Macdonald. Damn it.
Booster shots are recommended for those 65 and older or 18 and older if you have certain medical conditions and if you live and or work in a setting that puts you in high risk. State Immunization Director Dr. Frank Welch.
Both the Moderna and Pfizer booster shots are now approved by the CDC, in addition to a booster shot for those who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
And if you did get the J&J single-dose vaccine,
Everyone who got the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine is recommended for a booster shot.
if you have questions, call your doctor or the vaccine hotline. I'm Brooke Thorrington.
Jury selection begins today in the aggravated rape trial of former St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Jack Strain. The 58-year-old was indicted in 2019 on 8 counts of sex crimes involving juveniles. The alleged incidents date back as far as 1975. Governor John Bell Edwards says he supports the first 2 constitutional amendments on the November 13th ballot. Amendment 1 would authorize a centralized state tax collecting authority.
It is something that us
Wonder, should I do a segment on the damn Amendments 3 and 4?
parishes
It,
and municipalities in order to
nobody cares.
Edwards says he also supports Amendment 2, which would lower the state's income tax rate, but do away with the ability to deduct federal income taxes paid. The Angola prison rodeo was not held this month, but Louisiana State Penitentiary will hold an arts and crafts show on December 4th. Corrections Secretary Jimmy LeBlanc says now that COVID numbers are more stable, they wanted to hold a scaled-down event to boost morale and give attendees a chance to buy one-of-a-kind goods.
Jake! What's
up, Big H? What's up, brother? How you doing?
On the mend. I'm good. I threw the back out last week. So. It's weird not working out for an entire week. No, I know. It sucks.
Gotta let your kids walk on your back.
That's
Like Lucille Ball in the grapes. Come on, dude.
yeah, no. Like when George Jefferson used to walk on Tom Willis.
I don't remember that one. I mean, I remember the show, but I just don't remember that. Hey, when I leave, you mind if I take that for a few minutes, Van? She asked me if she could borrow it.
Yeah, have at it.
I'll bring it back. She just needs a few.
Have at it. What will we talk about today?
First off, I got 4 more games. I just don't want Ozer on the sideline. I just don't want it. T!
What's up?
I'm on with Brian at 35.
You need to run down there for a minute? You got 3 minutes?
No.
Okay.
I'm good. And I got to talk about the street team because it's a Monday and they're out.
The street team?
Yeah. Baton Rouge Street Community Team.
Oh.
The Foot Patrol folks. We're going to have to split them up.
They're just trying to do their best, man.
What? I don't want to hear that.
They're just trying, Rich. Come on.
No.
The problem runs so much deeper.
Hey, word on the street
Take a
is,
shot.
hey,
Word
word on the street is they're getting flashlights soon. Stop it.
The problem is so much. These are people that want to do good.
Look, I'll tell you one thing. Some fool better not try to run from them.
Have you seen the dads on duty yet?
Yeah, I saw them dudes. That's some bad dudes up in Shreveport, Coach. I like
dudes?
That. Damn right. I like them dudes.
I mean, they look like they're putting in the school violence in casseroles.
Some big dudes.
One
One
of
of those dudes
big dudes.
Huge.
Like, they don't have to stop people from doing things. They just go, hey! And that's it. You stop when they do that.
Yeah,
hey!
remember I saw the piece. I think it was on CBS or Fox, where the kids were saying they get that look.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, as soon as we're back in, can you run downstairs and let my next guest in? Thanks. Okay. Yeah. I'm sending them to the door at the bottom of the stairs. Oh, Eric says, oh, yeah. Ed, give that a minute, Eric. It'll be, Boo at the Zoo was fun. Kids had a blast. He wants more animals. I didn't realize how hard that was these days.
What?
Bringing in new animals.
Oh.
I want a lion. I want an elephant. It feels
Well,
wrong.
I
with
just
the
want the zoo to get the animal in that'll make you happy. That's all I want.
You know.
T, what you doing, dude?
Danny cut up.
What?
Danny cut us up a little video. He said highlights from the wildest show I've ever produced.
Hey, went emotional.
.638, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. I'm going to have to see that one later. Richard Condon's in studio this
Good
morning.
morning.
Hey, Rich.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. How
you know
are you?
what today is?
Monday.
It's the first day of the week, and you know what happens every Monday.
What does?
Da-da-da-da, here comes Mad Brooms A-Team. The Baton Rouge Community Street Team, ladies and gentlemen. Look out your car windows today. They'll be patrolling Baton Rouge. Now, after this weekend, I think we're going to have to split the 6 crime fighters up.
Why?
We're going to have to put 2 on Burbank, look like we're getting a little active out there. We're going to have to put 2 more in North Baton Rouge to make a rotation at the tire shops. Then I guess we got to put 2 out on Sherwood now. After 2 more people were killed.
Yeah.
The Baton Rouge crime-fighting team. Now, look, I hate to spread maybe a rumor on the air, Brian, but I understand they're going to add to their crime-fighting toolbox today, either walkie-talkies, could be adding a flashlight, understand maybe a gazoo in case one gets away. And you know what they say? Unlike the BRPD, they're actually in the trenches. Now, I've seen 6 of them. I don't think 5 could get out the trenches without a little help. But I'm going to tell you something. Don't try to outrun them. What a jackass you'll turn out to be, I'll tell you that.
You know.
They're on foot patrol.
You know, these people are stepping up.
They're on foot patrol, people. No, they can't step up. That's the problem.
These people, they're looking, look, they want to make a difference, Rich. The problem runs so much deeper than this. They'd run, oh, come on, man. They're doing their best.
Hey, I'm just thinking if they really want to prevent future murders, they're going to have to do more than 1 week of patrol.
You in
I think they're going to have to do like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays eventually. And then soon, not only are they going to get walkie-talkies, they're going to have flashlights, they're going to have whistles, they're going to have everything, dude. You don't want to mess with them. I'm going to tell you something. And let me tell you something. You and I will be dead and gone, but they'll be talking about the Baton Rouge Community Street Team that started to spread out all over the country.
It's a modern-day Wyatt Earp, Rich.
And listen to this. I'm going to ask you a question, Haldane, and you better show me a pair of Johnnies.
Okay. Well.
Okay? Every time I ask you a question, you go in the back, you put on base makeup, and you put on a new pair of stilettos. Now, look. Orchid came out with a survey, right? They gave us the 50th rattiest cities. Which 50 cities have the most rats running all over the place, okay? Of the 50 cities, and I did this for the listeners because I love you. And that's your problem, Haldane. You don't tell the people that listen to your show every morning how much you love them. I listen to you when I'm sick, and Sue's giving me a suppository. I still listen to you. You got to appreciate your listeners more. Now, look. So check this out. Of the 50 cities with the 50th most rats running around,
I feel like I'm getting
how many of those 50
right now.
cities you think have a Republican mayor? I looked them all up. All
of the 50 cities that have the most rats, how many do I think?
Haldane, I don't have time to get the maintenance guy out of bed and fix the echo.
You want a legitimate answer to the question?
What the hell? It's a legitimate question. You think I'm playing Puff the Magic
I
Dragon?
need to kind of break down the numbers in my head. I got to break down the numbers.
I want an answer.
No,
that's why I'm in here.
If you want an answer,
I'm not going to talk to moms.
The whole point of the segment is I don't know about it beforehand. I got to break this down, Rich.
Ain't no break it down. Just pull a number out your butt.
That's what I'm asking. I'll pull. Okay, 5.
Nope. Way over. Way over.
I'm way over?
Way over.
0.
Of the 50 rattiest, 1.
1?
And you know what city it is?
Oh, which
that
one?
man can't control anything because all they got is people coming up on driftwood all day. Miami. They just floating ashore. You can't control the rats in your city when that goes on all day.
You know what shocks me? Miami has a Republican mayor? Okay. Surprised by that.
And guess what, Bay? I got to leave you with this. I looked it up, and it was so sad. You know who I wanted to bring in to coach LSU's 4 remaining games?
Who?
Let Coach O go. Enjoy yourself. Here's your money. God bless you. But I couldn't bring him in because he died, and I didn't know.
Who?
Hal Hunter.
Really?
You remember Hal Hunter?
I do.
You remember? Your boy Donato was 2-8.
Yeah.
Hal Hunter came in. What did LSU do?
Kicked butt in the Arkansas
game. They kicked Arkansas's butt, 35-10.
Hal Hunter passed.
Yeah, he passed away in 2013 at like 89 or something.
Wow.
But Brian, here's the deal. You look at this team, and you're not going to see anything different. I mean, you get outscored 31 points. 31 straight points you give up. Look, I know people say, well, like it would make a difference. I want to see. I want to see if they turned it over to Corey Raymond. I want to see if they turned it over to Mickey Joseph.
Right.
I want to see the players playing for themselves and the school. You're not getting this anymore. And for whatever reason, you could say because of the protests, Ed didn't show up for, he showed up late, or some of the things, rumors, whatever the angle is, you can watch this LSU football team, and you know they're not giving it everything they have. At least with somebody else, I could say, okay, where was that before? Okay. And look, this whole thing, too, where people, and Hanny and I argued about this on Saturday. Well, Hanny goes, yeah, but all the good players were on the sideline. Yeah, but half of those good players wouldn't be on the sideline, and they would have that surgery after the season. The reason why they had the surgery now is because I have nothing to play for. I don't want to play for him anymore for whatever reason. I'm going to get it done now. I'll have my surgery now, so guess what? I can enjoy myself in the spring or the summer.
Yeah.
But they're not playing for him. And the thing is, I want kids to go out and have fun again. I want them to go out there and lay it on the line for their families with no other distractions. But you know, Brian, you got 3 remaining home games. And I'm not just saying this. I don't use press passes. I don't do it.
Right.
I walk. I buy tickets. That's just the way I am. I'm no better than anybody else. I don't like that because anytime you use press passes and all of that, you're jaded. You can't be objective. I don't care what anybody says. You know, it's that person that gives you everything for free. You tend to spend more time with them, you know? So my point is, I'd rather see these kids go out there, 3 home games. Chances are I'll buy tickets, maybe for the last game against Arkansas or A&M. But, I mean, you know right now what you're going to get against Alabama. You know right now what you're going to get against A&M. You know right now what you're going to get against Arkansas. ULM, that's a loss leader, whatever. And it's just disappointing. Well, yeah, but whatever. But I think more people would go just to show how they're supporting the players and they love LSU, just to go to see how can we defy the odds and perform like we haven't all season. And, you know, what they pulled out against Florida is miraculous to me. Because I thought, you know, when they played like that, then word came out on Sunday, right? When they had the press conference. I thought maybe somehow social media today, you know, kids know a lot more than we used to know.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they got wind in a locker room. They had their own little meeting and they came out and did that. Well, no, after what they didn't do against Ole Miss, it was just one of those days.
Yeah.
The weather was nice. The kids wanted to play and they played.
Yeah, I don't think they knew anything before the Florida game. I think they just came out strong. With Ole Miss, though, like the first 2 drives of the game, I was like, they're in it. They're in this for Ocheron. But the level of drop-off after that 4th and goal,
You know,
the drop-off was
But you know
through
what?
the floor.
You can really tell the lack of effort and consistency in trying to tackle. You know what they remind me of? You could have had the players on defense on Saturday at the Most Blessed Sacrament, the St. Aloysius, or the St. George School Fair, and they could have just gave the kids piggyback rides. Because that's all it was. I mean, it was a joke. And tackling is about effort. Tackling is about want. Tackling is about personal pride. And when you don't see that, that tells me everything. And you're playing for a coach who's known defense, defensive line.
Yeah.
Let's go get them, guys. You know what I mean? Let's run through a brick wall. And you're not getting that from this team right now. And do you really want to see that for 4 more games?
From a tackling perspective, you weren't getting that in game 1 either. So that's no different now than it was then.
You know, I was wondering when I left the Florida game, I'm going, what if that same effort would have happened when they were healthy, totally healthy?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, if they would have been undefeated going into the Ole Miss game or undefeated going into the Florida game, at least half, if not more, of those players that decided to have season-ending surgery now, they would have been playing. It may not have been 100%, but you know, how often you hear that? I was only at 95, 90%, but I still thought I could be productive and contribute to the team. And I decided, my doctor told me, you're not going to injure yourself anymore. So I decided I'm going to play all season long and have that, you know, that medical procedure after the season.
He is Richard.
Guess what came out today in 78? Halloween.
Oh,
Jamie
that's
Lee
right.
Curtis,
Yeah.
Oakwood Shopping Center. On the way home, I got me the best hickey I ever had. It was huge.
Richard Condon. Love you, brother.
Went to school Monday. Hey, Frank, what do you think there, stud? Huh? Yeah, right, about a bang.
Quick break. Your Money Now traffic coming up next. Appreciate you. That was awesome. We actually got through more than one topic today.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to. I know. And I mean,
Oh, I know. I thought you were going to talk about Alec Baldwin today. I really did.
Oh, no, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, I just, you know, it wasn't a gun, but I remember when they shooting that movie, The Twilight Zone, and the helicopter crashed in the water? You don't remember that one?
No.
Coach, there's video of that. They were shooting The Twilight Zone, and they had family in the water, part of the movie, and the helicopter crashed in the water, and the blades.
Oh, no.
You never seen that?
No.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
See your Super Chevy dealers today. It has been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. DraftKings is putting new customers in the center of the action with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Get in on the action now. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Feel the NFL action like never before with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part is you can deposit and withdraw your
You don't need that extensive. Just
download the DraftKings app now and use code
Richard talks about fighting crime on a street level.
can get a free shot at millions.
What was the second one he covered? Yeah, LSU football and rats. Mm-hmm.
Play your favorite casino games and sports bet for free. Visit betrivers.net. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Boucher.
This is gonna be tight, isn't it?
I think I actually I'll mail it.
Mm.
See an accident? Report it at WBR.
No worries.
Always. I got no rat story, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Ducks and what else this morning?
Booze there on Thursday, our Halloween event. That's it. We're good. Ducks is on Sunday the 7th. And Booze there's Thursday the 28th. You doing all right?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
On the mend. I pulled a muscle in my lower back, completely threw my back out. A week ago yesterday.
Brutal.
I'm about somewhere around 85% right now. I'm actually going to try and start exercising again this week. But, I mean.
It's relentless, man.
Yeah, I know. There's, like, last Monday and Tuesday, I couldn't physically stand up. I'd have to, like, hold myself up on things.
Yeah, been there. No fun.
No. Hey, when something like that happens, just blow the rest of it out. That sounds, it's just, you're picking right back up in the middle of a spot. There's. .652, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. CBS World News Roundup coming your way in just a little bit. So coming up later on this week, there's an event at the Knock Knock Museum. Coming up week after next, there's another one, and that's a good thing. Seeing things on the calendar again is a good thing. Getting out and about is a good thing. Joining us now from the Knock Knock Museum is Jimmy Frederick. Jimmy, welcome back. How are you, man?
Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it, Brian.
No.
Yeah, we got some big things coming up.
I know.
We finally open. We got open in June, and we've been gangbusters all summer, so we're really excited about having some events finally.
Well, before we get to the events, let's just start with that. How have things been since reopening?
We had a really great summer. You know, we've really, of course, done all our cleaning protocols that have been very important to us. Of course, everything keeps changing from one day to the next. You know, we are, of course, enforcing the mandate, the mask mandate, when you're inside with children 5 and up. And we're really doing a great job of making sure everything is good and clean, as we always have, but
Sure.
doing an extra special job to make sure that's right.
How tough is it with the mask mandate and the kids? Because they're running around.
Kids are easy. Adults are hard. Kids are used to it at school, but the adults are a little bit more difficult, but we haven't had any problems. Everybody's been very understanding, and they understand that, you know, it's not our rule, it's the governor's rule, and so we've had a good time with that.
Yeah, and y'all went to some great lengths to get opened back up again, and but stuff like the Knock Knock Museum is important developmentally, recreationally, like combining those. Y'all do such a good thing such a good job of combining those two things where you're having fun while learning.
Right.
And for kids, I mean, older kids maybe not so much. It's just more the fun end because they already know most of it. But like I've got a 5-year-old.
Right.
Knock Knock is vital for him.
He's the exact age. I mean, our target is 0 to 8. Once you get about 8, 9 years old, you start aging out of Knock Knock, and you need to go to other museums, LASM and other places.
Yeah.
But that target of developmental hands-on play, which is basically a kid's job, is to play and make connections to their world, and they do it through our 18 learning zones, and it really does make a difference.
Yeah, he likes the grocery store and the river and the tugboat.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great spot this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so speaking of this weekend, before we get to this weekend, we've got Thursday.
Right.
You've got a little trick-or-treating going on?
We do. We have our 4th annual booze there. Of course, last year was a drive-through event. It was good, but it wasn't what it used to be, and now we're back, and we're really excited about that. So Thursday, beginning at 3, we have 3 timed sessions. So we'll have 3 to 5, 4 to 6, and then 5 to 7. So all you have to do is register at knockknockmuseum.org. And if you don't register and you just show up, that's not going to be a big deal. We'll get you in for sure.
Hey, so you're walking through the museum itself? Or?
We absolutely are. It's just a regular day at the museum, but we have a lot of different events and different pop-up activities. We'll be decorating pumpkins. We might even have a fortune teller who might be dressed up and having some fun. We'll be trick-or-treating throughout all our 18 learning zones. We have these very cool knock-knock pumpkin trick-or-treat bags everybody's going to get. But it's basically just come to play at the museum. We'd love to have you come in your costume, but there's just a lot of Halloween decorations, a lot of Halloween activities that are going to be going on, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, it's a tough line to walk there. Speaking as a parent, putting them in the costume and then asking them to go play, because it's like, no, you need that costume 3 days from now.
Right, well, that's true.
Be careful with what you're doing.
We will do the best we can.
I'm getting dad mode real fast. All right, it's time for the Ducks, too.
Yeah, Duck Derby. Our 4th annual Duck Derby is happening on November 7th. $5 gets your entry into the race. You could win $2,500 for first place, $1,500 for second. Third place is $1,000. So up to $5,000 if your 3 ducks come across the finish line first.
So, okay, let's reset for those that have never heard of this before. What is a Duck Derby and how does it work?
So Duck Derby is our fall fundraiser, and it's really important to the museum. We've been, we were closed for 447 days, so this is really important. But really, it's a fun way to do a raffle.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to race these little small rubber ducks, colorful ducks, down what we call the Hill of Zoom, which is our driveway.
Yeah.
And Lamar is giving us vinyl so that we can make this thing as slick as glass. Fire department's going to be there to shoot the water down, and it is a fun time to watch these ducks race and go down and see who's going to win. But other than that, it's also just a great way to help the museum, and we're going to have a lot of fun activities. That's on Sunday, November 7th. Get your ducks before then so you get in the race.
Yeah, get in. You definitely want in the race. And when you say race, it is a raffle, really.
It is a raffle. 100%.
There's no strategy going into this. You can't recruit or scout ducks.
Nope.
They're
There's
just
no way
little
to know
rubber
which
ducks.
one is yours, but each one does have a number on the bottom of it. We pick the first one that comes across the finish line. First 3 will win cash prizes.
Cash prizes for the first 3 to come across, and of course, all the proceeds go right back into the museum. The Duck Derby coming up on the 7th. Now, along with the ducks on the 7th, I assume that other things will be going on at the museum that day?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to have a regular museum day, but it's capped off with the race, and we'll have some other duck-correlated fun that we'll have going on.
Excellent. Now, this is also about the time of year that you need to be thinking about getting your membership for next year as well.
Absolutely.
So what's going on the membership front?
Well, it's a great Christmas gift. It's a great gift any time of year. Give your family, your grandchildren, your children a year's worth of play at the museum. It's unlimited play, 360, well, as long as we're open.
Yes.
But any unlimited play, it's a family 4 is $150, which, when you think about it, you can bring a family of 4. It costs you about $50 to bring them here. You can just do that all year long, and it's a great time to do it. We have different levels. We have grown up and me, where you can just have one adult and a child. So if you're just have one child and one adult, come on, it's easy to do. No problem. Knockknockmuseum.org takes care of everything.
Knockknockmuseum.org for the membership. Is there a special site for the Duck Derby?
If you go to knockknockmuseum.org, all on our homepage, you can get your booze there tickets, you can get your Duck Derby ducks, and you can take care of your membership all in one fell swoop.
Excellent. Yes, you want to get your ducks ahead of time. As far as boo is concerned, can you just show up or should you reserve?
You certainly can show up, but it would be better to pre-register just because we're trying to keep our numbers at a certain level. But we're going to take anybody and everybody.
Knockknockmuseum.org for all of that. He is Jimmy Frederick. We always appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely. We got CBS News coming your way in exactly 1 minute. Enough time for me to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. If you've not yet downloaded the Matherns app, you're going to want to go ahead and do that. Why? Well, because you can do your grocery shopping before even leaving work. You can do your grocery shopping from your desk, pull into the parking lot, they bring it out to you, boom, I just saved you an hour out of your week. Full-service grocery store at Matherns, either downtown on 3rd or the corner of Nicholson and Skip Burtman Drive. You're going to find the same great selection at both locations. And, oh, by the way, along with the fantastic grocery store, you've got one of the best lunch counters in Baton Rouge. The deli at both is just absolutely fantastic. Went by there. It's kind of a game day tradition for me, especially for away games when nobody's tailgating on campus, to swing by, pop in at Matherns and see what they've got going on. You can do the same. Grab yourself some lunch today. Download the app. Knock out your grocery shopping as well. Both locations of Matherns, downtown on 3rd or Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive. Oh, by the way, join the rewards program as well at Matherns. Here comes the CBS World News Roundup.
So much, man.
Greatly appreciate it.
No,
greatly.
we appreciate it.
That's yeah, the duck derby is a lot of fun. Just if for no other reason, when driving past, seeing the giant inflated duck is always,
That's what I gotta go do right now is inflate that stupid thing. It keeps losing air. I don't know why, but anyway. Anyway, I appreciate it very much.
If the governor calls off the mask mandate on Wednesday, does that apply to y'all as well, or is it different rules for y'all? Okay.
We will follow.
All right. I didn't want to ask on the air because I didn't know.
No. I appreciate that, but yeah, we'll follow.
Okay.
And duck derby, of course, is outside too, so that helps.
No, yeah. I mean, just as far as the museum in general is concerned, it just.
Brutal. I mean, but yeah, the kids are good. Certainly the adults, some of them.
Well, it's rare that a 5-year-old makes a political stand.
Exactly. Good
So.
point. See you, pal.
Later. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Hey, babe.
What's up?
Coach, check this out. This stays between us.
Well,
no, that's all right. No, because I appreciate your audience. We talked about
He
that.
knows what he's doing.
Look, hey, guess what I'm doing, dude? Seriously, I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and put my money down on the duck, right? I got an inside person over there. I'm going to get my duck beforehand, and my duck's going to be the Rosie Ruiz duck. Coach, I'm going to be down the stream. I'm going to be down the stream, right? Look, behind a bush. Right when they let the ducks go, hell, I'm 100 yards ahead. I'm going to toss my duck in the water. Rosie Ruiz. My duck's going to get to the finish line with no sweat, but wins by a mile. How you like that?
You're going to rig a duck race.
Damn right I am.
You're going to rig a duck race.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
For charity.
Bro, I'm telling you what.
I'm rigging it right now. I will be in the bushes with my binoculars, and Connie's going to throw his duck right out there, and guess what?
What?
All the other dogs are going to be trying to catch him.
Why are you so dressed up today?
Well, I'm on Beast Show.
You look nice.
Damn right I do.
I'm sending the street team after you.
Damn, which, huh?
With the new flashlights.
Hang on. Don't let me get away from you.
They're just trying to help.
Oh, stop it. Foot Patrol. Come on. In the trenches. Hang on, Gertrude. We'll get you out of there. Gertrude. Come on, B. Lighten up a little bit.
Oh.
Hey, I say this each and every day. Okay?
What?
I listen to you when I can over there because I like your levity. It's not all hard hitting. It's not all. When I listen to morning radio, I want to be entertained a little bit.
Right.
Yes.
And you give me a little bit of everything.
Why, thank you.
You run the spectrum, is what I'm saying.
Do you like my shirt?
You like a shirt?
I don't know. Yes. I'm just going to say yes.
An American flag cut out in the
She
back
walked
of
out
a
of the garage with
tank
that and a
top?
lava lamp, dude.
It's. You're not supposed to wear a flag.
I can wear whatever the hell I want to wear. And can I borrow your phone charger?
Yes.
Thank
Richard
you.
was supposed to bring it down to you half an hour ago.
I know, and he just forgot.
Yes, I like your shirt. What?
Liberals, I swear.
No, that's the opposite.
Oh, yeah, we listened to you.
That's the opposite.
I know, that was supposed to be a jab. I know.
Because you know I got to hear that crap all the time. Shut up.
WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Way up. Here's a crash, though, that I've been telling you about. So originally, around the 10-12 split, we had an accident on the eastbound side blocking the left lane. Then they moved everything over to the shoulder. Well, now the right lane is blocked at this time for emergency vehicles. So multiple lane closures off and on. Let's take you outside and check on a different angle of this. So emergency vehicles, again, are now blocking the right lane. This is going to be the eastbound side of I-10. These folks here are going to I-12 eastbound, and these folks are trying to travel, say, toward Essen Lane. So we have backups from College Drive to Essen on I-10 eastbound, all because of the crash.
See an accident? Report it at WBRZ traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
The humidity is high and will stay high all day long. Skies will be mostly sunny and temperatures will climb to 90 degrees this afternoon. Overnight temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Tuesday and Wednesday are set to be warm and muggy as well. The next cold front will then move through on Wednesday afternoon. This front will bring with it some showers and storms capable of heavy downpour, gusty winds, and frequent lightning. There's even a chance that some of these storms do become severe. So the WBRC weather team is always tracking the latest on air and online at WBRC.com.
Okay. Okay. .706 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Brian here with you. Jake Barty producing. Got a busy hour this hour. By the way, thanks again to Richard Condon for stopping in for Condon's Countdown, where we actually did a countdown today. We actually got to all the topics that were on his page. Normally, so the lowdown on this is Monday mornings. We like to get the week started off with a little bit of fire, right? Richard provides that fire on a regular basis. So normally he'll come in with like 3 or 4 things written on a sheet. We'll get to one of them, and then before we know it, the segment's over with after only talking about one. Got to all 3 this morning. If you missed it, it'll be on demand at talk1073.com. Hey, coming up this hour, we've got Medical Monday coming your way in our next segment. Also, Stephen Waguespack from LABI going to hop on the hotline at 7:35, and we will have the outside in to round things out. We will have your top stories and trending in just a minute. Before we get to those top stories and trending, though, got to tell you about the folks over at Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. They bring you the outside in every day because, well, you'll find them in more than just East Baton Rouge Parish. Yeah, the outside in where we're checking our surrounding parishes like Ascension and Livingston. Well, you'll find locations of BRPT in Ascension and Livingston. 6 locations throughout the greater Baton Rouge area, and they know what they're doing. They've been around for 60 years now. Look, normally when you think of physical therapy, you think about recovering from a major accident or a major injury. So much more than that. That everyday nagging pain that's keeping you from being your best you, it can be worked on. It can be treated. Give them a call and get yourself a complimentary screening. 917-9185. 917-9185 or visit brptlake.com. If you're not physically your best right now, get back to being your best you with a little physical therapy. Think brptlake.com. All right, time for top stories and trending. Let's get it.
Now, top stories and trending. On Talk 107.3 FM, the most trusted name in news. Brought to you by Complete Collision Center, with locations in Zachary and Baton Rouge. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Choose CompleteCollision.com. I want to know absolutely everything that's happening now.
Louisiana residents who lost wages because of Hurricane Ida have until November 2nd to apply for disaster unemployment assistance, according to the state's Labor Department. Louisiana Workforce Commission said the jobless aid is available to eligible people who live in more than 24 parishes: Ascension, Assumption, EBR, East Feliciana, Iberia, Iberville, Jefferson, Lafourche, Livingston, Orleans, Plaquemines, Point Capee, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. Helena, St. James, St. John the Baptist, I feel like I'm running the litany in church. St. Martin, St. Mary, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Terrebonne, Washington, West Baton Rouge, and West Feliciana parishes are all eligible. You can apply at laworks.net. Got to get in before November 2nd to get that done. East Baton Rouge spokesman Mark Armstrong says the Juvenile Detention Center has implemented changes to ensure the safety of its employees. Why? Well, this dates back to the escape a little more than a week ago. Armstrong explained at this time, for the sake of maintaining the safety of facilities workers, details of the new measures, safety measures at the Juvenile Detention Center will not be shared with the public. He also said officials are still trying to find out how inmates were able to get a shank, which handmade weapon, and that was used to overpower 3 correctional officers during an escape earlier this month. Quote, I've been here since 1978, 42 years. It's horrifying from time to time living here. By the way, the 3 correctional officers involved in the breakout suffered minor injuries. 1 officer was taken to a hospital, treated, and released. 2 people were shot near a tire shop on Scenic Highway Saturday afternoon. Sources said the shooting happened around 5 p.m. near 7100 Scenic. The victims suffered non-life-threatening injuries. No other information was available on this incident. BRPD detectives are investigating the death of a man found stabbed to death inside his home Saturday morning. Police say investigators found 59-year-old Gerald Taylor dead from apparent stab wounds inside his home on North 36th Street. The motive and suspect are unknown at this time. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 344-STOP. 2 people were shot and killed in an apartment complex on Long Ridge Avenue around 6:30 p.m. Monday. No other details about this. Now, authorities have not officially ruled this as a homicide investigation yet. This might have been a murder-suicide, I think is the long and short of putting that, but they haven't officially ruled it that as of yet. Again, any information, 344-STOP. That's a look at your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. So, the Alec Baldwin incident continues to raise more questions. Alec Baldwin fatally shot a cinematographer on a New Mexico film set with a gun that a crew member had assured the actor was safe. A tragic mistake that came hours after some workers walked off the job to protest conditions and production issues. That's what we know. Would it shock you to know that this wasn't the first incident involved in the filming of this movie? The Los Angeles Times, citing 2 crew members that they did not name, reported that 5 days before the shooting, Baldwin's stunt double accidentally fired 2 live rounds after being told that gun didn't have any ammunition either. A crew member was alarmed by the misfire. A crew member who was alarmed by the misfires told a unit production manager in a text message, "We've now had 3 accidental discharges." The New York Times also reported that there were at least 2 earlier accidental gun discharges, citing former crew members as well. Santa Fe Area District Attorney Mark Carmack Altwise said prosecutors will be reviewing evidence in the shooting and don't know if charges are going to be filed just yet. Before the fateful rehearsal, there were reports of some problems on the set. 7 camera crew members walked off several hours before Hutchins was killed to express their discontent with matters that ranged from safety conditions to their accommodations. Apparently, they were kicked out of like a Courtyard by Marriott and sent to some like roadside motel that was not up to snuff. Disputes began soon after filming began in early October, said the crew member, who requested anonymity because he feared speaking up would hurt his prospects for future jobs. Now, all this, by the way, is in conjunction with the timing of that recent strike that was avoided. There's just so many answers, or so many questions left unanswered in regards to this shooting. We are due up for a break. Let's take that break. When we come back, Medical Mondays coming your way next. We're talking about the opioid crisis with Dr. Melanie McKnight. All right. Do you know how it starts on the recorded side? Okay. I can't hear it. Okay, now how does it end? All right, perfect, good. I couldn't remember if I hadn't tailed it yet.
WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Way up. Here's the crash, though, that I've been telling you about. So originally, around the 10-12 split, we had an accident on the eastbound side blocking the left lane. Then they moved everything over to the shoulder. Well, now the right lane is blocked at this time for emergency vehicles. So multiple lane closures off and on. Let's take you outside and check on a different angle of this. So the emergency vehicles, again, are now blocking the right lane. This is going to be the eastbound
So
side.
play the Medical Monday intro and then just straight into it. You don't even need to come to me.
See an accident? Report it at WBRZ traffic on Twitter. This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars and purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
It's time for Medical Monday, brought to you in the interest of your health by Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center.
Yes, it is time for Medical Monday, and this week we are talking about the opioid crisis. We are talking with Dr. Melanie McKnight. She's a surgical hospitalist at Our Lady of the Lake. She has previously headed up opiate committees in the past. Dr. McKnight, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this because I feel like as much awareness as there is about the opioid crisis, it feels like we're treading water. The death toll continues to rise. Are we getting anywhere with the crisis?
Well, I think every day that we get more people aware, that we educate and bring more money and insurance availability for treatment, we're making some progress, but not nearly the progress that we need to make.
No, absolutely. And we're still working. I mean, it's a work in progress. There are, I mean, no doubt, it's just the where the crisis is right now, there's got to be people listening today who are either directly or indirectly affected by substance abuse. So as the problem continues to grow, let's kind of encapsulate how big is the problem?
I think there's no doubt every walk of life is affected by the opiate crisis, either directly or indirectly. As you know, in East Baton Rouge Parish, this year alone, we've already had 242 deaths, which is the same number we had for the entire year last year. If you look at the homicides we've only had 104. And while any loss of life is terrible, the opiate crisis continues to take the lives of more and more people every day.
Let's talk basics. What are opiates?
Opiates are substances derived from opium, a chemical that comes from poppy seeds and plants, used to treat pain. It activates centers in the brain which suppress your nervous system, make you feel good. If you take it in overdoses, larger amounts that are prescribed, or drugs on the street, it can cause severe consequences, immediate consequences, loss of life, you quit breathing, long-term consequences, mental health issues, infection issues, financial issues, loss of workplace. So it affects everything that we do.
There seems to be differences between abuse of opiates and abuse of other drugs. What are some of the differences that stand out and have make a medical difference?
Well, I think that we need to talk about first about what is substance use disorder. I think until the mid-2000s, we didn't even have this as a disease process. We know that it's a chronic relapsing disease that affects the chemistry in the brain and your behavior. We abuse multiple things in life. It could be alcohol, tobacco, opiates, cocaine, methamphetamine, if you talk about addiction, gambling, food, exercise. But opiates, when we abuse them, people tend to die. The reason they die is because you develop a tolerance, and as you go farther to get the high that you previously had, you take more and more medication. Sometimes you're in treatment, then you relapse and you go back to taking the same amount you took, which then is an overdose. And today's problem is how much counterfeit drug there is out there, especially fentanyl, which with one pill, one dose, can kill you.
Fentanyl is it's a game changer, and it's straight up poison. I struggle to even call it a drug because it is just that what you find on the street is just straight up poison, and is probably the result of I don't want to put a percentage on it, but a lot of the opioid deaths that we see. Getting back to the substance use and abuse part of this, though, are there groups that are more susceptible?
There are people who are given medication either in the hospital or outpatient for acute pain to take large doses for a long period of time are more likely to abuse. There's a genetic predisposition for addiction, which can greatly increase your risk. People who use drugs at an earlier age, changes in their brain chemistry can have them abusing drugs more likely. Mental illnesses, because some of those illnesses affect the brain in the same way. Different environmental factors as well, the stability in families, what kind of substance abuse there is at home. Those groups are all at increased risk for addiction.
One of the problems with this particular crisis is that they work. Hydrocodone, oxycodone, these things, they work when they're prescribed, so they're still being prescribed. Now, granted, most doctors have these on lockdown at this point. Are we seeing more and more alternatives that are viable and work just effectively for pain when they're first prescribed?
Yes, there are many alternatives to this. I think, as you've seen lately with the big award from the drug companies, we were taking care of pain 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, and these medications were developed and came out, and they were advertised as non-addicting. Now we've gone back to square one and saying, what can we do for pain? And there are other modalities of treatment. Some are as simple as, after a surgery, chewing some gum can help tremendously, getting up and moving, using physical therapy, using Tylenol, using anti-inflammatories, as well as other prescription medications. But it's taken time for us to realize how serious these drugs were and to reinvent those modalities that we've used in the past.
Is fewer prescriptions the only answer to avoid opioid abuse? What other possibilities are there to help avoid opioid abuse?
Oh, there's definitely fewer prescriptions. 100% will help, and we've done that. Fewer prescriptions, having doctors review a prescription monitoring program. As you talked about previously, the National Drug Take-Back Day, knowing that when you're through with the drug, instead of it sitting in your medicine cabinet, making sure we lock up drugs so that people who they're not intended for get them. There are ways to dispose of medications that you've been prescribed other than the National Take-Back Day, including different kits or taking them to pharmacies other than the time of this National Take-Back Day. We also need to educate, and that has been tremendous, as well as mental health education to try to prevent people from starting on drugs. There are numerous websites, and there's a documentary called Chasing the Dragon that's very powerful to watch with your kids, to watch with family members, and also to be aware of what are the signs and symptoms of abuse.
Chasing the Dragon, you said?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I've seen The Pharmacist. That was entertaining. I don't know how informative, but it was certainly entertaining. I'm going to have to check this one out as well. Yeah, the National Drug Take-Back Day was last Saturday. We should be getting results back from BRPD and DEA about just how well they did. I know back in April they brought in 45,000 pounds from one location in New Orleans. When you think about the weight of one pill, 45,000 pounds is kind of ridiculous.
It's tremendous that people are aware of this now and getting rid of medications that are not in use, whether it be an opiate medication, a sedating medication, or even a blood pressure medicine or a diabetes medicine. If you don't need it, it doesn't need to be in the home and let it potentially get in the hands of other people who will be harmed.
And destroyed in the proper manner. Let's see, if you suspect that somebody within your home might have an addiction, might be on the wrong path, what are some things that you could be doing if you see a loved one that's abusing opiates?
Making yourself aware of what's available. We have now gone into detox, medically assisted treatment, counseling, help with other problems that is much more available today than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Baton Rouge, the capital area Human Services, has a tremendous program to help. The Lake has the COPE team. There's also a Bridge Center for Hope, all of which you can access either online, by telephone, or in person to get help. Online, there are numerous resources. I mentioned, watching the documentary Chasing the Dragon, justthinktwice.com, getsmartaboutdrugs.gov, the Louisiana Department of Health website, ldh.la.gov. All of those sources have resources that are available, and much more available, covered by some insurances, If not, there are grants out that's available for treatment today that was not available in the past.
Let's talk about some of those treatments as well. What is done to actually treat an opioid addiction?
It's a multi-tiered process. If you think about opiate addiction or any addiction to medications, like you think of any other chronic illness, diabetes, hypertension, you've got to make sure you're aware of it, number one. Number two, you've got to get into some sort of intensive treatment if you're interested in getting off of opiates. It's shown that if you have some sort of intensive treatment, outpatient or inpatient, for 90 days or more, your chance of success is dramatically higher. There are medications today that can be given to help. It's called MAT, or medically assisted treatment. Medications much more available and generics available, so the cost of medication is much less than it was in the past. You also have counseling, whether it's group or individual. Also need family support, as well as relationships. Workplaces now are putting in place systems for helping people with opiate disorders because we lose so much productivity in the workplace by having addiction.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the one who is addicted, kicking this it's not the same path as kicking something else you might be addicted to. You'll experience a lot of very intense physical withdrawals. What are some of those things that people go through as they try to make their way on the mend?
Well, people go through withdrawals, and you can do that by saying, I'm stopping cold turkey at home. Mm-hmm. But the better way is to get treatment, and there are medications that dramatically help with the withdrawals. You have shaking, you have hallucinations, sweating, heart beating fast, numerous feelings that are terrible, but in an assisted way, you're going to beat that much better than you are on your own and much safer.
If I know someone who's abusing, where can I get information for treatment for them?
Like I said, I think the Capillary Human Services and their addiction recovery services is one place. Again, the COPE Center at Our Lady of the Lake, the Bridge Center for Hope are the big three resources that I would start with in the Baton Rouge area. Online, anything that has to do with the Department of Health and hospitals for U.S. or locally at ldh.la.gov, those are resources that can get you hooked into a source that can help you. With COVID, one of the bad things we saw was, of course, the deaths was COVID, but also increase in opiate deaths due to isolation, due to the inability to get treatment. But one of the good things that we saw is increased telemedicine and telehealth that's helped tremendously with people who prior would have trouble going into a center are able to get help by the telephone, by video medicine, and by medically assisted treatment.
We got Dr. Melanie McKnight for just a couple more minutes. Dr. McKnight, I want to ask you one more, and this is on the treatment end of things. The rise in popularity of medical marijuana makes it seem like a cure-all from everything from pain relief to nausea relief. Are we about to see a transition to where this is a replacement for opioids from the start? Is it a safe transition? Is it as much of a cure-all as folks are pitching it as?
I think, as you said, medical marijuana has been touted to treat and help multiple conditions. And I think the reality of the situation is that people who are addicted to, have substance use disorder with opiates, that medical marijuana would never be a singular treatment for opiate use disorder. Price-wise, it's probably about the same, maybe a little less than buying opiates, whether it be on the street or through online. But I think that if you look at the cost to the individual, to society, probably medical marijuana would be a better treatment, a better addiction, quote unquote, than an opiate would be. And I think over time, we've seen that medically assisted treatments with Suboxone and its derivatives, with methadone and its treatment, that while you're trading an addiction and a street addiction for another opiate-type medication, you see decreased rates of death, decreased rates of infectious disease transmission, HIV, Hep B, Hep C. You also see increased productivity at work, days when people are in treatment of missed work go down dramatically. And so if we trade one addiction for another, and medical marijuana can help keep people off of abusing opiates, then probably it's a good trade.
Yeah, maybe not the final goal, but definitely a good next step. Dr. Melanie McKnight, thank you so much. Very, very informative. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Medical Monday, of course, presented by Our Lady of the Lake every single week. If you miss out on any part of it, it's available at talk1073.com in our blogs and on-demand section. And my appreciation of Dr. McKnight as the opioid crisis does continue. And the number of treatments that are out there right now, I think, is hard-pressed to find good news when it comes to the opioid crisis. So looking for anything as clinging to anything that might be good news is always on the forefront. Hey, Talk 107.3 FM is giving you a chance to enjoy a true Louisiana staycation on us at either the Renaissance or Watermark Hotel. Simply take our staycation survey at talk1073.com and you will be instantly registered for one of 2 staycations each month. We give away 2 a month. We draw 2 winners, one on this show, one on the Jada Cody show. It's a staycation with the Watermark and Renaissance Hotels, and Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk. If you're curious, Angela Girona won September's stay at the Watermark, which gets you, or got her, a one-night stay with a valet and dinner for 2 at the Gregory. Victoria Bankston won the September stay at the Renaissance. That'd be a one-night stay with breakfast for 2 and dinner for 2 at Tallulah. Staycation survey. It's easy to do. It's available at talk1073.com, and you can win yourself a staycation at either the Watermark or Renaissance Hotels. Quick break for news, traffic, weather. When we come back, let's talk with Stephen Waguespack next. Oh, Stanley says the stabbing story has been updated. They have a suspect that admitted the stabbing. All right. It's the Monday morning blotter. But thank you for the update, Stanley. I think the new union agreement only affects SAG Productions. Baldwin's film is independent and not SAG. Okay. I only mentioned it because the Associated Press mentioned it. Anna says, Brian, looks like you need BRPT for your back. Not yet, Anna, but the thought has crossed my mind. I'm only 1 week removed from this injury, so if it lingers beyond, say, another week and a half, absolutely I'll be in that number. But as of right now, like I still have half a bottle of muscle relaxers at the house.
visit the travel section on our website at patientplusuc.com.
Each year, Alzheimer's Services of the capital area holds the Walk to Remember to raise awareness of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias amongst and serve those affected in the greater Baton Rouge area. As Alzheimer's Services is the local dementia resource, all funds donated stay right here. Show your support. Join us November 6th at the 27th Annual Walk to Remember to assist family, friends, and neighbors affected by dementia in our community.
For more information on how you can register a heart donor, visit alzbr.org.
Do your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite. For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dynamite in our first stock. We noticed the difference.
Dynamite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole
Okay.
foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which baits out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall health. Adding a scoop of Dinovite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs.
Talk
All 4 of
173.
them are on the Dynamite.
It won't be
Hey, Steven, how you doing?
your dog will be.
Doing well, thank you. We're going to be live momentarily. We'll get you on. Thank you. Result.
Take a deeper dive
Yo, topics today?
with the Fox News Rundown. Weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk.
Yep.
The humidity is high and will stay high all day long. Skies will be mostly sunny and temperatures will climb to near 90 degrees this afternoon. Overnight temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Tuesday and Wednesday are set to be warm and muggy as well. The next cold front
All right.
will move through on Wednesday afternoon.
You said you're taking your boy to D.C. this week?
Showers and storms capable of heavy downpour, gusty winds, and frequent lightning. There's even a chance
Leaving
that
tomorrow, not went to
storms
D.C.,
could
going to
develop
D.C.
severe, so WBRC
All right, hang tight. Come your way in a sec. Thanks.
We are mattress.
Got you. .738 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along every Monday at about this time. We talk a little business. We welcome in Stephen Waguespack, the president of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Stephen, welcome back. How are you, sir?
Brian, doing well, man. How are you?
I am doing great. Glad to be starting another week of just moving forward towards this election. If you don't mind us starting here, I want to start with the constitutional amendments that are on the ballot because I don't feel like I can talk about it enough. I don't feel like I can beat this drum enough. No, because it's not a huge candidate. It's not like we're voting for president. It's not sexy. But these first 2 amendments, and I really don't care about 3 and 4. I don't even know if they apply to me. But the first 2 amendments are super duper important.
Yeah, they really are. And, this is going to be – this is what's tough because, as you know, man, I've been around the state a lot over the last month talking about the amendments, especially Constitutional Amendment number 1. And, when you talk to folks, everyone gets it like, oh, it's a no-brainer. This has to happen. The challenge we're facing, and I think everyone faces, is there's not a major election on the ballot this fall. There's no governor's race or senator's race. There's no big congressional races in any parts of the state. So really, there's a lot of folks who are going to wake up on Saturday morning on November 13th, and they might watch a little football. They might mow the grass. Maybe they'll take out the golf clubs or whatever they're going to do, sit in a deer stand. But too many folks are not going to go vote.
Right.
Some of the projections we're hearing from consultants and others that we kind of, are asking about this, they're saying the turnout could be between 8 and 10%, and that is pretty paltry. And so it's really important. I'm glad you brought it up, and sure, I hope we talk about it every week until the election because Constitutional Amendment number 1 is one of the best things we can do for small business in this state.
Yes.
And especially those are the guys that during the pandemic have been scratching and clawing to stay alive. Those are the guys during the pandemic, which is have government come in and shut their doors and restrict their tables and do all that stuff. And they've done nothing but shown perseverance and grit And right now, if Constitutional Amendment 1 passes, it takes such a regulatory overhead burden off of their shoulders and allows them to just get back to doing what they do best, which is keeping their doors open and serving customers. It's so important that Constitutional Amendment number 1 passes. There's a lot of bipartisan support for it, but I'm just worried that too many folks are not going to show up. And so I'm glad you brought it up, and I'll be glad to talk about it anytime you want.
No, absolutely, and 1 and 2 for that matter is. And the thing
2
is,
also.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It directly affects our state's revenue without affecting without raising. If you could raise revenue without raising taxes, I don't see how that's ever a bad thing. But on top of that, capping the income tax is important as well. Removing the federal fluxing of income tax from our state, both of these things are infinitely important, and 92% of people just aren't even going to flex their say in this.
Well, just because they're predicting low turnout doesn't mean they have to be right. Some
true.
Miracles happened. 1980 Miracle on Ice, and when the Russians were beat by the Americans, hey, it could be one of those moments, right? But we just can't depend on a surprise turnout. We have to make sure if it only is 8 to 10% turnout, hey, look, it has to be the folks who understand that it's good if we have less taxes, lower regulatory burdens. We have more small businesses. We have lower income taxes. We have a growing economy. If you like those things, you need to get out and support Amendments 1 and 2 on November 13th. And yes, we're a broken record on that. Yes, we've partnered to put together a new website, untanglemytaxes.org, to try to get information out there. You can get yard signs, you can get flyers, you can get all kind of good stuff there. We have to be a broken record on this thing. And look, I want to apologize in advance. You're going to start seeing a lot of our messages on your Facebook page and all that stuff. We just have to do whatever we can to get the message out so that folks show up on November 13th. They support Amendment 1 and 2 so that we can have lower taxes and more jobs.
Stephen Waguespack, president of LABI, is our guest. Stephen, we'll touch on the 2 amendments every single week moving forward up until Election Day, to be sure. But there's a lot of LABI business going on right now. You guys have a trip planned.
Yeah, actually tomorrow we're taking about 25 of our board members and key members up to D.C., and we're going to spend the next 3 days visiting with our congressional delegation, visiting actually with some folks from the executive branch, from the Biden administration, visiting with some of our trade association partners up there to get the lay of the land. And, we plan this once-a-year visit way in advance. And so months ago we planned this date. Little did we know that it would be such a critical date, because this is the week it looks like that we're going to find out if Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kristen Sinema end up cutting a deal on the big stimulus bill or not. And so we'll be there with our delegation as those decisions are being made. Obviously, there's a lot of our members that are very nervous about that bill, very supportive of that bill finding its way to a trash can. And so we'll obviously spread that message up there. And if it is going to pass, hopefully they can put amendments on it that can take away some of the unnecessary spending and some of the programs that will shift us off of a market-driven economy and one to a government-driven economy, because we've had a taste of that over the last couple of years, and I think everyone can realize that ain't helping. Because while people's 401ks might be looking good right now, you can't get employees back to work. Inflation is going through the roof. Supply chains are broken. There's a lot of signs throughout our economy which should give pause. And don't let a rising 401k because of the cap on interest rates fool you. There's a lot of issues with our economy that we're quite concerned with, and a big spending bill that'll be dumped into the economy could make that inflation worse. And let me give you one other thing real quick, Brian. Right now, if you look at what's going on in state government here in Louisiana, just pick up the paper today. I mean, literally, there's almost $2 billion in quote-unquote extra money that the state and local governments have here in Louisiana because of the past stimulus bill, and they're just trying to find ways to spend it. Why in the world would Congress see a situation like that every state's facing and say, you know what we need to do? We need to pass another $2 or $3 trillion in spending that we have to go borrow from China, dump all over the country. How can they see that and not realize it's just going to continue to drive the workforce gap? It's going to continue to drive up inflation. I don't understand how they can't see the signals that every small business and family is seeing all across the country.
No, same. And we are legitimately seeing it now, because a lot of times this could be very high-end conversation. But when inflation is affecting the price of meat and milk, I mean, when you've got it all the way down to whether it be inflation or supply chain issues or whatever the case might be, if ground beef and milk are going up, things are going wrong, and it's hitting people directly. Like construction costs can go up, and that doesn't affect everyone all at once.
Well, it does. It trickles down to everyone. If that plywood and carpet and refrigerators and shingles and everything goes up, guess who pays that? The consumer. Everything gets passed through.
100%. But if I'm not building.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But look, and the other piece is, look, if they're just hell bent on spending money that they don't need to spend, look, we can cry to her blue in the face and say, please don't do it. But if you're going to do it, at least try to do it in ways that can try to solve the problems we're actually seeing in the real world. So if you want to put incentive money out there, fine. Give people an incentive to go back to work, to work 40 hours a week, to get back in the workforce. You want to fight the climate? Hey, who doesn't? I'm all in for that. Put money in there to speed up the transition of clean and safe burning fuels like natural gas. Put money in there to find storage facilities so that and get them permitted so we can ramp up nuclear, which is an emission-free way to produce energy. There's ways to achieve some of those goals using stimulus dollars the right way. So, look, in a perfect world, that stimulus bill just doesn't pass at all. But if they're just hell-bent on spending something, spending on money to move us to the fuels that America can produce and spend money on sending people to get back to work instead of convincing them to stay home.
Just to kind of clarify, what I was saying was, like, if I wanted to build a house, I could put off building a house if construction costs are too high. I can't put off eating.
That's true, but if you live in Homa and Terrebonne and the Bayou
area, good point.
You
Yes.
put off building that house.
That's true, too.
Maybe you can't because that tent's getting pretty tough to live under. I mean, we've seen how much it's been a struggle to get that temporary housing program put up in place. FEMA's been dragging their feet. The state hasn't necessarily been running full speed either. You got folks like State Rep Tanner McGee and others that have been singing from the rooftop saying, please give us some temporary housing, and they haven't got what they needed. So, if you're a desperate person down there and you've got to do whatever it takes to get a roof over your head, and you happen to do it at the same time that, federal relief money's slow from Congress and inflation's going up, it's a perfect scenario working against you.
Had Tanner on the show. It was either Thursday or Friday, but he's about had it. He said FEMA's blaming GOSEP, GOSEP's blaming FEMA, and I'm saying you two just figure it out and call me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, stop the finger point and just kind of roll up your sleeves and get to work.
Yeah.
And look, I used to be on the inside, as you know, and I know these recovery programs are hard. FEMA makes it tough for you. It's like a needle in the haystack sometimes. But you just got to pound that rock every single day until they give you what you need. And right now, the truth is, this state needs temporary housing in IDA areas. We're not getting it. And there needs to be a deafening chorus coming from the state. And look, we'll definitely be sharing that as well when we go up this week to D.C.
Looking forward to a recap on that trip for sure. Now, after that trip, you've got your Free Enterprise Awards coming up. Got about 60 seconds left. What should folks be on the lookout for here?
This is a really cool thing we do every year. We give out awards not just to the legislators who supported Free Enterprise Agenda in the session, but we also give out awards to businesses and individuals that have done great and heroic and noble things throughout the year. We have Company of the Year, Manufacturer of the Year, Workforce Innovator of the Year, et cetera. And we'll be giving those awards out on November 11th at our offices on 500 Main Street in downtown Louisiana. And look, this year we're doing it block party style. And so if you got a pair of blue jeans and a pair of cowboy boots, come on down, go to our website, or get yourself a ticket. Come on down for the awards because right after it's done, we got a block party outside, and Parish County Line's going to play a concert out in the streets, and we've got it all walled off, and there'll be plenty of food and beverages and good music for everyone. So it's going to be a night to celebrate free enterprise, celebrate people that stood up in a tough year and voted and did things the right way, and it's also going to be a good night just to kind of celebrate because this year's had enough angst, man. We need some moments just to have a good time together.
No, absolutely we do. And where can folks go to hop in on that one again?
LABI.org. Go to LABI.org, find out about Constitutional Amendments 1 and 2, find out about some of the policies we're pushing, and find out how to come to Business in Boots on November 11th and pass a good time with us.
Looking forward to it. He is Stephen Waguespack. Safe travels up to D.C. We will talk to you next week, sir.
All right, big guy. Have a great week.
You do the exact same. We got Your Money Now coming your way right now. After that, we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish for the Outside In next. All right. What's next? Outside in.
Meet our team of attorneys at Murphy Law Firm before you hire an attorney for your injury case. Visit murphylawfirm.com and your decision will be easy. Learn why we should be your attorney. Get to know us before you call. Main office, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back. We've missed you. We know it's been tough. Because rebuilding your business isn't a quick part. Your business needs a jump start. And we're here to help. Introducing Surge, symmetrical speed fiber internet from Etel Business. Revved up data speeds at 30% off, plus 3 months free. We're glad you're back. And we're here to make your business surge. Etel Business. Offer valid for 3-year contract for renewable business services.
Ooh. Scusi.
I'm Governor John Bel Air, and I'm Major General Pete Waddell of the Louisiana National Guard. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. As cyber attacks increase in volume and sophistication, we hope everyone in Louisiana will take the steps necessary to protect their critical information. Threats can include everything from malicious emails to hacking of accounts and devices. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us have worked remotely more than ever before. Cyber hygiene is the first line of defense. Here are some small steps you can take to protect yourself online. Enable multi-factor authentication and use strong, unique passwords for all of your accounts. Make sure to keep your computer systems and software up to date on a monthly basis. Visit getagamePlan.org for more on cybersecurity tips. Call the State Fusion Center at 1-800-434-8007 if you become the victim of a cyber attack. Thank you, and God bless.
Louisiana Body and Bistro is cooking with love. Delicious Cajun goodness for lunch, dinner, or family combo to-go meals with limited dine-in or curbside pickup. Call 225-749-6354.
At Louisiana Bike Bistro, when I get something, we're something else.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Tow truck has now arrived to the scene of a crash that's causing a headache for a lot of drivers trying to pass through Baton Rouge right now. The accident itself is on the eastbound side of I-10, just past the 10-12 split. But it's not just causing congestion eastbound, which, by the way, starts before you even get to the Mississippi River Bridge. It's also causing westbound rubber-necking delays and southbound on I-110. So as you approach the scene of the crash, the right lane up ahead is blocked. Plus, you're noticing that it's foggy out there, too. And here's the Mississippi River Bridge. It's like the top doesn't even exist. If you're going eastbound, you're going to be stuck in a whole lot of traffic all the way through. So this is not a great day for the drive.
See an accident? Reported at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter. This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
$7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Thanks again to Stephen Waguespack for hopping on board from LABI. Talk a little bit about business, and yeah, we're going to hammer that home as we move towards the election. Amendments 1 and 2 are going to be vitally important to the state, but they're not going to be like the draw of a major race, the draw of a major candidate. You're not going to have a presidential run. You're not going to have a gubernatorial run. It's just the amendments. Is that enough to bring you out to the polls? Well, probably not. All right, coming up next hour, we're going to talk with Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute, and we are going to talk with Jodin Sweetin as well. Right now, though, every day we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish for a segment we call The Outside In.
It's time to step outside of East Baton Rouge and get inside our surrounding parishes. About time for me to be hitting the old dusty trail. Really explore space this time. I mean, really. Yeah. Explore the space. The Outside In, presented by BRPT Lake, with 6 locations and extended hours to fit your needs. BRPT Lake has got you covered. Schedule online now at BRPT
We're going to start off in Tangipahoa Parish. A woman died after her husband shot her, then killed himself Friday. Sheriff's Office out that way said deputies found a woman, 34-year-old Heidi Davis, lying outside her home with multiple gunshot wounds when they arrived at the residence on East Coles Creek Loop. Davis was taken to the hospital, later died from her injuries. Deputies said the victim's husband, 38-year-old Anthony Davis, not that Anthony Davis, had barricaded himself inside the home. After trying to get Davis to open the door, law enforcement entered the residence, said they found him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. State police are investigating a deadly crash along I-10 west of Highway 73 in Ascension Parish. The crash claimed the life of 34-year-old Brandon Chapman around 2:30 a.m. Sunday. Initial investigation revealed the crash occurred as Chapman was traveling west on 10 in a 2018 Honda Accord. For reasons still under investigation, the Honda exited the roadway to the left, struck a tree bordering the roadway. Chapman was unrestrained at the time of the crash and sustained fatal injuries. This morning in Covington, jury selection begins in the trial of former St. Tammany Parish Sheriff indicted on counts of sex crimes involving juveniles. Jack Strain served as sheriff for 20 years before the accusations were leveled against him. The 58-year-old's fate is now in the hands of a jury tasked with deciding if Strain is guilty of 4 counts of aggravated rape, 2 counts of aggravated incest, 1 count of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 1 count of sexual battery. Strain has pled not guilty and has declared his innocence numerous times involving these accusations. Lafayette's looking at the possibility of moving the chief of police from an appointed position to an elected one. There have been 5 men leading the day-to-day operations in the Lafayette Police Department since Mayor President Josh Guillory was elected in office at the end of 2019. Many in the city are asking if an elected chief would be better than an appointed one by the city and parish's top official. Lafayette's Protect the City Committee took 6 months researching the benefits and drawbacks of further deconsolidating the city and parish governments. Part of that discussion was, should the Lafayette citizens vote for their mayor? Should they vote for when they vote for their mayor, should they also vote for their chief of police? That committee has yet to make a final decision or a formal recommendation, but regardless of what they do, it would be up to the councils or the citizens' petition to get the charter, mayor-president's elections, and the chief's appointments changed. Closing out in Lafourche Parish, where threats have been made to 2 schools on social media, the threats that were made have been found to be not credible, but listen to this. Lafourche Parish Sheriff Craig Weber and School Superintendent Jared Martin said investigations into screenshots of private Snapchat messages threatening schools at Central Lafourche High and Thibodeau High began Saturday and ran into Sunday. Those investigations involving social media platforms, state and federal officials, several copies of the same messages were found to contain Central High School, a name associated with many schools across the country. Apparently this is a Snapchat trend and there is nothing behind it. Let's catch CBS News. I should have skipped that last story. There was 2 more paragraphs there, not enough time to spit it all out. That's on me. Yeah, I'm struggling over here. Yeah. Oh. Let me go head down. Gotta let my 8:15 guest in. I'll be right back. Yep. So we just got to knock out this day in history?
Okay.
And then coming your way in the second segment?
Awesome. Actually, is there a restroom?
Yeah, go right around this corner and then back around.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Daniel. Jake Portsea, pleasure. Nice to meet you. Yeah, today's kind of a boring one. To be honest with you. Or events that happened.
Oh, you think so?
That's what I got. You might got some heat. I don't even know about it.
Well. Not gonna say that out loud. Well, it'd be bashing a sponsor. Which, if they're doing something wrong, sure. If it's me being kill my mic.
See an accident? Report it at WBRC Traffic on Twitter.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
The humidity is high and will stay high all day long. Skies will be mostly sunny and temperatures will climb to near 90 degrees this afternoon. Overnight temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Tuesday and Wednesday are set to be warm and muggy as well.
Lights are always live on YouTube. Camera's right here.
This front will bring with it some showers and storms capable of heavy downpour, gusty winds, and frequent lightning. There's even a chance that some of these storms do become severe, so the WBRC weather team is always tracking the latest on air and online at WBRC.com.
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Got a busy hour this hour. Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute is going to join us in our next segment to talk about civil asset forfeiture laws. If that doesn't blow your skirt up, let me restate it. The state taking your stuff away. Better? Yeah. We're diving into that in our next segment. Also this hour, Jodin Sweetin. Yeah, I know, right? From Full House. Well, she's got a kind of a Halloween special out. It's not dubbed as a Halloween special, but the timing of it can't be missed. It's called Celebrity Exorcism. And spoiler alert, they're not actually exorcising people. It's places. Pre-recorded interview. It's already in the can. She's fantastic. I was a little bummed when I found out it wasn't going to be about people. Anyway, Jodie Sweetin, a Full House, and also a Fuller House. 8:40 this morning. Hey, how'd you sleep last night? I ask it every day. If you didn't get the best night's sleep, it's probably because of your mattress. If you've rotated that mattress more times than you can count, if you just know it's nasty from all the sweat and dander and everything else that gets absorbed into it, yeah, re-up, man. Time to get into the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. It's either 4065 Florida Boulevard in Mid-City or the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2 if you're closer down to, Ascension Parish line down there. Both locations of the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet have the same fantastic service. The Mid-City location is a larger footprint. So if you want to go the full Goldilocks route and just keep trying beds out till you find the one that's just right for you, I recommend 4065 Florida Boulevard or call 930-5779 if you want to get directions. You're going to find a great deal at either location. You're going to find great financing if you even need it because the deals are so good at either location. Oh, by the way, if you mention you heard about it right here, you get free delivery from either location, 4065 Florida Boulevard or the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2. Get yourself a good night's sleep, and that starts with a good mattress from the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. All right, every day at this time, Jake takes us back in time with This Day in History. Let's go.
We're going to start things off pretty recently, actually. 1953.
Okay.
Cleveland Browns quarterback Otto Graham sets club record with 4 fumbles.
4 fumbles.
Not a day to remember for him, but one for us.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
For sure. 1960, first electronic wristwatch placed on sale in New York City.
Okay. What, Timex? All right.
1964, Rolling Stones appear on the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time.
64?
1964.
That sounds about right. Yeah, okay.
1968, longest Olympic field hockey game. The Netherlands beats Spain 1-0 in 2 hours and 25 minutes, 6 overtimes.
Wow.
Imagine getting your money's worth.
You saw that game go 9 overtimes over the weekend?
Yes.
The final score was like 20-18.
It was
That's
no
ridiculous.
LSU A&M, that's for sure.
No.
1978, Halloween, directed by John Carpenter, starring Donald... What's his last name? How do you pronounce his last name? Pleasance?
Pleasance.
Pleasant? Is it actually Pleasance?
I think so. About 90% sure.
And Jamie Lee Curtis in her film debut is released. That's her film debut.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. This day in 78, Halloween became a thing.
Very nice. Starting off the career with a bang. 1992.
Wow. He just skipped right past it.
What?
No. Go ahead. 1992. What happened? You know, field hockey gets a mention, but go ahead. What's up?
1992, Jake's Women closes at Neil Simon Theater, New York City, after 245 performances.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Jake's Women.
What is that?
I don't know. But
do you just mention it because it has your first name in it?
Maybe. It's my segment. I could.
You don't even know what Jake's Women is.
No, but it happened.
All right. Jeez.
Do you have any events for me?
Yeah, I
Let's
do.
hear it.
About more than field hockey and Jake's Women. Down to their last out at Shea Stadium on this day in 1986. Game 6! New York Mets rally for 3 runs with 2 outs in the 10th against the Boston Red Sox to win 6-5 and push the World Series to a decisive 7th game. The tie-breaking run scores on Boston first baseman's Bill Buckner's error through the legs on Mookie Wilson's slow grounder. Game 6 was this day in 1986.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's the World Series. It's a little bit bigger than field hockey.
I think I've heard of that before.
This day in 1990, Evander Holyfield knocks out Buster Douglas, who should have never had the damn title in the first place. Evander Holyfield knocks out Buster Douglas in Las Vegas to become the undisputed heavyweight champion.
Very nice.
Yep.
That's going to conclude the events. Let's get right to the birthdays. First up, Pablo Picasso, born on this day in 1881.
All right. I like that.
Fun fact, if you look at his self-portraits throughout the years, it gets more and more distinctly his style. He aged horribly.
So bad.
Katy Perry turns 37.
Yeah, she does.
Woo! Craig Robinson turns the big 5-0.
Craig Robinson from The Office.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like plenty of other movies that you.
Oh, dude,
probably
he's
do.
been in so much.
A lot.
He's just one of those naturally funny guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You always see him somewhere in the cast, and you're like, oh, he's in this. And last one that I have is one that you will not even slightly care about. Federico Chiesa turns 24.
Yeah, you're right. I don't. Pedro Martinez.
Hmm?
Pedro Martinez.
Yes.
Yeah. He was born on this day in 1971.
Very nice.
Hall of Fame Boston Red Sox pitcher. How about keeping it local? Dome Patrol, baby. When I mention the Dome Patrol, you should know instantly the 4 names that are associated with that.
I
Ricky
know.
Jackson, Pat Swilling, Vaughn Johnson, Sam Mills. It is Pat Swilling's birthday. He was born on this day in 1964 and born on this day in 1940. Tiger basketball fans, get ready. Bobby Knight. Oh, no.
That's going to conclude the birthdays. No deaths to report.
Yeah, you got one.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this day in 1999, Payne Stewart died in a plane crash.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's going to conclude the deaths. Let's get right to the holidays. First up, we have International Artist Day.
For Pablo Picasso, obviously.
National Greasy Foods Day.
Nope, cannot participate.
Well, I probably will, but I shouldn't. National I Care About You Day.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
That's unfortunate. I care about you, Brian. Oh, well.
They don't need a day for that. What's that, like Valentine's Light?
Yeah, pretty much. But, like, way after.
That's what Valentine's Day is, right? I mean, you're it's someone you care about.
But
I
mean,
care about you.
But caring about someone doesn't have to be romantic, does it?
Valentine's doesn't have to be romantic.
I mean, I guess you're right.
I mean, kindergartners trade with their entire class. What kind of polyamorous garbage are you talking about?
Tune in to Brian's Mornings with Brian Haldane.
Yeah, that got dark. Let's move on.
Let's just deconstruct all the holidays while we go on it. National Mother-in-Law Day.
Did he say polyamorous kindergartners? Yeah, kind of.
Okay. And World Pasta Day. That's
All right.
conclude this day in history.
Greasy and pasta. It's just a fat day. Ugh. Yeah, that is going to conclude this day in history. Hey, since it is Fried Stuff Day, I think you said, no, Grease Day.
National Greasy Foods Day.
Greasy Foods Day and Pasta Day. Let me go ahead and remind you about the fall open house running today through October 30th over at Go Slim Nutrition. Go Slim Nutrition, corner of Bluebonnet at Perkins Road. GEAUXSlimBR.com is the website, or give them a call at 763-9600. 763-9600. They've got jumpstart plans available. There's new meals available. I picked up my food last Friday, and a couple bars, a couple shakes, some chocolate chip cookies as well. Look, it's not about the diet. It's about the accountability. It's about Vicky and her team and how they do things just a little bit differently to make sure your diet fits in with your lifestyle. You're not just crash dieting here. You're learning how to adopt new routines, new habits, making this something that's a lifelong path, not just losing a few pounds. Fall open house going on right now. This is their biggest sale of the year, and you're going to want in on it. 763-9600, or just swing by Bluebonnet next to Rouse's. Did I say polyamorous kindergarten?
You definitely said polyamorous kindergarten.
I'm going to hear about that one.
It's a hard act to follow there, Brian.
Should have edited on that. Shouldn't even have mentioned pasta.
I'm not real, yeah.
To be honest, I didn't even process you saying that until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
The Care For You Day is kind of like the It's Complicated button on Facebook. You know,
Yeah.
they still do.
Yes. I care for you. Yeah. Unfortunately, anybody who would complain about that comment doesn't know the meaning of the word polyamorous. So,
Keeping it high class.
yeah. The Skip Burtman. Oh, yeah. You will hopefully, for your sake, one day be involved in recording a session with Skip Burtman and Dan Canterbury. I can't talk about it with a mic on, but it is glorious. Tell my mic for a second.
When you've been in the industry for over 20 years, you learn a few things. For one thing, you learn your product inside and out. But you also learn how to ask the right questions and give satisfying answers. Jim's Firearms.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
That
Yeah.
was ugly.
Oh, yeah?
It even backed up. I'd left early this morning, but that had backed up inbound, too.
Shit.
It's right there at the 10-12 split.
Yeah.
Yes.
What part of New Orleans you live in?
Uptown. But this worked great, because I got to go to Shreveport. And I'm like, oh, I'll be driving right through.
What you got going on in Shreveport?
Oh, just visiting some folks up there. I'm actually doing radio and with. Did you ever know Robert and Aaron?
No.
They're good
No,
people.
but I hear on Keel, I guess.
Yeah.
I hear Keel's doing a lot of really good things that I need to reach out to them about.
They're good. They've been on that show for forever together.
Yeah. (818) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So time to completely shift gears and leave the last segment behind. I was reading a press release. Well, the press release originally was a couple months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Or, well, no, I got it on Wednesday. Never mind.
Feels like a couple of months ago.
Such a Monday. It says August 20th on here. Tell me I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
Now, what date did I receive it? Was
Someone forgot to change the date.
Yeah. All right. From the press release, the Pelican Institute for Public Policy released a new policy report today looking into Louisiana's civil asset forfeiture laws. Civil asset forfeiture is the ability for the government to seize people's personal property without charging or convicting the property owner of a crime. The report showed that from 2000 to 2020, the government seized a yearly average of almost $9 million in assets, totaling $186 million over 2 decades. Additionally, and here's where it gets creepy, the report found there is little transparency surrounding the process of civil asset forfeiture. Specifically, there's no way to tell if there was a conviction in conjunction with the seizure of personal property. Here to tell us what the hell is Daniel Erspamer. Welcome, sir.
Hey.
What is this?
Oh, this is crazy. You know, we talk about all sorts of policy issues, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about taxes. We've talked about spending. We've talked about education. You name it. This one just, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
There was, and I'll give this a broader perspective. This isn't just a problem here in Louisiana. The Economist magazine a couple of years ago found that actually more property from private citizens is taken by the government in America than stolen through crime, through robberies or that sort of thing.
Really?
It's an astounding practice that when you just start to look at it, you say, how is this America? How can this be happening? And yet it does.
So when the property is seized, it goes towards law enforcement agencies. It's kind of divvied up amongst law enforcement agencies. 60% goes to the seizing law enforcement agency, 20% goes to the district attorney's offices involved in the forfeiture, and another 20 goes to the criminal court fund. Now, you're talking about moving from property to funding, which means they have to liquidate it at some point, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And actually, a lot of this ends up being cash. You know,
Right.
their story is certainly cars and, you know, lots of other things as well. But there's a story actually here from a little while ago in Louisiana where a gentleman was driving, I believe, to buy a car or to buy something that required a lot of cash, and was pulled over on the interstate and everything seized. Now, he was never charged of a crime. He was certainly never convicted of anything. And yet, you know, to get his money back took lots of extra money. It can cost well more than $2,000 for the legal fees. And there's no guarantee after that you get your stuff back. Here's here's the way this works, and because you're asking yourself how, right?
Right.
How can this possibly happen? Well, it's because if in this process called civil asset forfeiture, when let's say you're pulled over and your stuff is seized, you and your stuff now go through separate legal processes. So you are working your way through. You may never get charged. Let's say you're charged with something and not convicted. Your stuff is going through a separate process. It doesn't go with you. So it can be, quote, convicted of doing wrong without you having ever been charged, and you just don't get your stuff back.
Okay, do we know how?
Well, that's the way the system is set up. So one of our recommendations is to eliminate this practice in favor of something called criminal asset forfeiture. And that's where, because again, this is not about saying law enforcement shouldn't be able to seize assets when there's a big drug deal or, whatever, right? This is a tool of law enforcement that they will tell you is very important.
Okay, but so seizing assets for a criminal is one thing.
That's
but
right.
Shouldn't you have to have been convicted of a crime to be considered a criminal?
We certainly believe so.
Okay,
the
so
Constitution suggests this as well.
I'm baffled with how this has become standard practice, not just here, but in a lot of places around the country. And is it just? It's not just cash though. Like cash would be the predominant one, but you can lose a car.
Absolutely.
You can lose your gun.
Yes.
You can lose any number of things
Any number
because
of
of this.
That's right.
And getting those back, especially once they've been liquidated, is impossible.
Yes.
Getting cash back. It's an expensive and arduous process, but it's possible.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And look, this started the roots of this, because this was my question to our team, was whoever thought this was a good idea to begin with?
Right.
And there is there are a very small handful of cases. Here's one. Let's say it's a major drug bust, okay?
Okay.
And the person leaves the country. So you don't have a chance to charge or convict. So the idea was we can hold on to your stuff to make sure you come back and face whatever process you would go through. But this has been abused now.
Okay, but hold on to your stuff is not the same as take your stuff, make it ours to put it in our budget, and spend your stuff.
Exactly right.
Holding is one thing. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that, whether it be some kind of major drug bust to a computer after a sting looking into online pornography or whatever. Like holding on to is one thing. Seizure and turning those assets into spending dollars is something altogether different.
Well, that's right, and the incentives of this, and let me be really clear. I am not criticizing law enforcement. The men and women who are out there are just doing what the law says, right? They are following the process. Now, because of the incentives being so wacky, right? The law enforcement agency, the courts, the district attorney's office all take the benefits of this. It's just rife with the possibility of abuse, and we've seen this case. And I'll share one quick story, not from Louisiana, as we were looking into this. We have a story out of, I think it's Tennessee, and this happened in Illinois as well, where there was an interstate where there was a major drug traffic, right? And so they had the drug dogs sitting on one side of the interstate, and it would hit when drugs went by. But they wouldn't arrest until it was coming back the other way with cash. And so you begin to say, wait a second.
Right.
This is where the incentives get wacky. If the goal of that law enforcement agency is to stop the drugs coming into people's hands.
Right. Well, but they have to destroy the drugs.
That's right.
They don't have to destroy the cash.
Exactly.
Which, in a sick way, that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. But that's what happens when your incentives are misaligned to what the goal actually is.
But let's say you're not drug dealer guy.
Yeah.
Let's say you were planning on purchasing a used car for cash. And let's say you've got, 10 grand on you. I don't know why you wouldn't just write a check, but let's just say that in this scenario, you've got 10 grand on you, and you are on your way to a used car lot to purchase a car without having to take out a loan or do anything else. You want to hand them cash and be done with the transaction. You get pulled over on the way there, and the officer says, that's an awful lot of cash on you.
That's right.
Oh, I'm going to buy a car. Likely story. So they can seize that without doing anything to you at all.
That's right.
They can seize that money.
The money, the car, other stuff in the car.
Right.
That's right.
Right, and you don't ever have to be charged with a crime, but your path to getting that money back is an uphill battle, to say the least. That's the part I don't understand. You do nothing wrong. The government still, we take this now. This is ours now.
That's exactly right. And, if you go to our website, pelicaninstitute.org, you can find the full report. But also, we've got this cartoon up that really puts kind of illustrates. It's a woman who's standing next to her car saying, "Help, I've been carjacked."
Yeah.
And it's the government driving away with her car. And that's really what it feels like for a lot of folks who've had to deal with this.
Yeah, in fact, in the column or the editorial, however you want to, imagine you're driving home from work and you pull over to the side of the road. Your car, personal belongings, and wallet are all taken from you. Now imagine you learn the perpetrator of this unspeakable act was not a criminal. In fact, the culprit was the Louisiana government. No, this isn't me pitching you my new captivating dystopian novel. This is the reality of Louisiana's civil asset forfeiture laws. And yeah, it does sound like a dystopian novel. Like, it can just be taken.
Yeah, this shouldn't happen in America. I mean,
No,
fundamentally, this should not happen.
Okay. Spent way too much time setting this up. We have 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
How do we fix it?
Well, the legislature can act.
Okay.
So there's a few things we recommend. The first I mentioned very briefly earlier, which is just eliminate the process of civil asset forfeiture.
Mm-hmm.
All of this can be done through criminal asset forfeiture, which means if you're not charged, if you're not convicted of a crime, you and your stuff go through the same legal process. You get it back immediately. We can also look at some other things to make sure that there was a study done, and we're trying to get the data to figure this out for Louisiana. But in Philadelphia, the average seizure amounted to about $100. So these aren't big drug busts. This is, let me take the cash.
That's infuriating.
It is absolutely
because that's
infuriating.
cash that everyone would have on them at any time.
That's right. So one of the ways to fix that is to say there will be no seizure under $500, or
Okay.
name some threshold.
Yeah, pick a number
to make sure we're not preying on people who just this is money out of their wallets.
Right.
And then transparency fixes a lot of things, right? So we got this data from doing public records requests of every law enforcement agency in the state. But we don't know, even from what we have gotten, which of the seizures actually yielded a conviction. So all we can tell is what's been seized from the records request, but we don't know which of those processes ended a conviction and which of them people were sent on their way with no charging. So we want to bring centralized reporting and transparency so that the public understands how this tool is being wielded.
And as far as the assets are concerned, put them in a neutral account?
That's right. Make sure that it's much easier for folks to get their stuff back.
So the legislature needs to act on this, but I got to ask, throw out a suggestion. You know who sounds like he should be on the case for this? John Schroeder.
Absolutely.
Because I make the case with the unclaimed property has a very similar path, and the state's been looking to take a lot of that money and use it to spend back and borrow it and return it. But this sounds like there's a lot of similarities there, and John could help out.
I would agree with that. And this is, getting this right is going to require folks like John, law enforcement, the legislature, everybody coming to the table to hammer this out. And we got to be very clear, this is not anti-law enforcement.
Oh, gosh, no.
We support law enforcement very strongly, but this is a system that is just out of whack and needs to be fixed.
He is Daniel Erspamer from the Pelican Institute. This is something that hopefully we'll see within the next legislative session.
Absolutely.
I mean, there should be something drafted by then. We always appreciate you stopping in, man.
Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on. Hey, we got CBS News coming your way in just a minute. After the news break, you'll hear from Jodin Sweetin. Got a new show out leading up towards Halloween. Not enough time to dive into something else here. So I will tell you, after Jodin Sweetin, we're not quite done yet. Going to check the latest on COVID-19 and have a few more items just to touch on before we get out on this installment of Mornings with Brian Haldane. Let's get you to CBS News. It says government seizure laws need radical reform. Yeah, absolutely, they need radical reform. I mean, a complete overhaul, because this isn't a matter of you're not even accused of a crime. It's just walking up. I like this. I'll take it now.
Yep.
So here's the question I have is, how do you combat the whole? Well, if we do it this way, we're going to have to raise your taxes because we have to send more money to law enforcement.
So there will still be, if we're doing this right, all of the big stuff, which is really drug related for the most part. If you can get a conviction, you still get the seizure. The key is to make sure that goes to a neutral account so that the incentives aren't a line for us to just go seize a bunch of cash where we can,
Mhm.
and then it's a similar issue with the court system with fines and fees, right? Is let's fund these are essential functions of government and law enforcement. We got to be funding them
Exactly.
appropriately out of the state.
Exactly.
And
It
then
just
from there.
This is the kind of shit that, like, when it comes to light, that it's one thing to understand what we spend our money frivolously on from a statewide standpoint. It's another thing when you realize they're literally robbing Peter to pay Paul in order to fund the stuff that doesn't get funded because we're sending money to whatever other program that's out there.
Amen.
That's the kind of crap that's unnerving.
Well, start to dig into how we fund public defenders, which is, by the way, guaranteed in the Constitution. Like,
Yeah.
if we're constitutionalists, that's one of those things that gets to the top of the list, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, if you really want to get crazy, couple this story with what's to come in the future with the president wanting the IRS to look at.
Gosh.
So here's what's going to happen. If the IRS is looking at everything that goes on through my bank transactions, I'm pulling shit out of my bank because I'm going to handle it on a street level so the IRS doesn't have tracking of it. Well, now I'm more at risk of having it seized from me and
Yep. Well, and then they already have all these rules, right? So we have a story, a woman in North Carolina who runs a family restaurant, and it's cash only.
Yeah.
And so she's depositing money into the bank account, and they got her on this structuring charge, right, where people are trying to hide cash, so they put it under $10,000.
Okay.
She was just depositing the money into the account.
Right.
They took it all. They took all the cash for restaurant. She got it back, but it took a public interest law firm coming
Wow.
to take her case because she didn't have any money. She couldn't afford to live.
bonkers.
Yeah. Just makes you mad.
So which legislator should I be on to follow through with this one?
Well, there's a few of them, who want to work on this kind of stuff. I think if you look at those guys who are real constitutionalists, who say, the Richard Nelsons and those guys of the world, this is a good fit for them. We're having a few conversations, but
well, let me know how it pans out, and they'll be on regularly.
Excellent.
For sure.
We'll do.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
No,
this
thank
was
you
fun.
for coming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's always good in person.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Awesome.
phone's good, but always better in person.
I agree.
So, all right.
All right. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday.
You too, Daniel. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
Once you get into the break, can you tell me if I got Jody Sweetin head and tailed as well? Okay. We put on weather after the spots. So, yeah, but you can do it now. That's fine.
Meet our team of attorneys at Murphy Law Firm before you hire an attorney for your injury case. Visit Murphy Law Firm. What to watch your decision will be easy.
Okay, yep. Cool. In the end? Cool.
Gulf Coast Bank is invested in our community by giving time, talent, and dollars to hundreds of nonprofits, making our neighborhood a better place. When I need them, I enjoy their friendly personal service. But when I don't have time to go to the bank, their technology allows me to bank anytime from anywhere. Be local. Bank local. Choose Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you. Member FDIC.
Are you a business owner wondering how to get a custom app for your company in order to optimize processes and provide a better customer experience? It's easy and affordable. Contact Innovatus to learn how. Visit novateus.com. That's novateus.com. Deb's constipation with back pain, discomfort, and bloating kept giving her grief. She talked to her doctor to get some relief. Turns out Deb had irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, which was a start. Saying yes to Linzess helped her do her part.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm women. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially in schools. The most common side effect Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by Appy and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Play your favorite casino games and sports bet for free. Visit betrivers.net. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tackling the top stories of the day. Brian Kilmeade, weekday mornings from 10 to 1 on Talk 107.3, the new flavor of talk.
The humidity is high and will stay high all day long. Skies will be mostly sunny and temperatures will climb to near 90 degrees this afternoon.
All right, y'all. This one's recorded as well, so I'll be disappearing for 7 minutes. And by the way, pay attention to the show that I really want to come back because you need to check it out. Yeah, you do the bump and straight into that. Straight into that. As part of our What to Watch This Halloween series we've kind of been putting together, I stumbled across Celebrity Exorcism on Tubi, and it's available right now. Joining me now, the star of Celebrity Exorcism, Jodin Sweetin. Good morning, Jody. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing very, very well. We got to get around to Celebrity Exorcism in a second, but there's some business to tend to first. Okay, but most folks know you from Full House. Obviously, we'll get to that in a second. But who do I have to rough up to get Hollywood darlings back?
I wish. That show was so much fun to do. It was, an unscripted, improvised comedy show. Christine Lakin and Beverly Mitchell and I had so much fun doing 2 seasons of that show. I'm with you. I feel like we had a lot more fun to have.
The number of shows that my wife and I could just chill out and watch and really enjoy together is dwindling because things like Hollywood Darlings go away. Y'all crushed it for 2 seasons on that, and we miss it. We absolutely miss it.
I miss it too. That was it was a really fun show to do. I love that one.
Absolutely. Hey, when it comes to Full House, I don't want to talk about Full House too much because we're all we're all familiar with the show. I want to ask you this: what other '90s show could pull off the full reboot the way Fuller House did?
I mean, I'll be honest. A lot of shows tried, but I will say I think Full House and Fuller House was probably one of the first and one of the most successful ones, for sure. So I'm incredibly honored to have that, that under my belt.
I love that y'all were able to bring Full House to a new generation. My kids love Fuller House. And, of course, great. I grew up on Full House, so it's nice to bring a second generation around to it. Let's get around to Celebrity Exorcism because this looks... Yeah. Would I be wrong in saying goofy? You and Shar Jackson and Meta World Peace, how does that combo come together?
It came together. The three of us didn't know who the other celebs were going to be when we joined this cast, and it was really funny because when we did, we all just clicked. And apparently Meta was a huge Full House fan growing up, so it was really cute because he was like, oh my God, Stephanie Tanner. And he and I actually became good friends, and we had so much fun doing this. He was very nervous, and I sort of wound up becoming Meta's personal bodyguard during all of it. He was like, you just can't leave me. If you do it, I'll do it. I was like, okay, fine. So it was great. And Shar and I, man, we just clicked and really hit it off. It was like we've been friends for years. So I had a blast doing it with Shar and Meta. And I love the supernatural anyway. So for me, I would have done it by myself. I mean, and getting to do it with new friends was even better.
Okay, so let's back up for the premise for those who are listening that aren't aware of it yet. Celebrity Exorcism, walk us through the premise of what you three do in this show.
Well, none of us are actually being exorcised. Just make that real clear.
I was going to make a Ron Artest joke about Meta, but okay.
No, none of us are being exorcised, but we did enter the world of Rachel Stavis, who is a well-known exorcist and spiritualist out here, and she's worked with a lot of people in a lot of places, helping to clear different energies and really work with with us to sharpen sort of our mental and supernatural tools as we went into some of these spaces And yeah, we went in and tried to connect with things and see what was out there, and to also help her clear some spaces that she had been asked to do in her own line of work. So it was fun to get to tag along with that and experience what she experiences.
Would you call it more on the scary side or more on the fun side?
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. For me, it was fun with a little bit of scary. I think if you go to Char, it was like kind of an even mix, and if you go to Meta, it was like scary with a little bit, mostly scary with a little bit of fun. So I think there's the audience will find one of the three of us to relate to in how much they either love or do not love the the supernatural.
Okay, how real do the exorcisms get? I mean, are we talking like full-on head spinning, pea soup, throw a priest down the stairs?
No, there's no exercising of humans, only of spaces.
Okay.
So we really only went into several spaces here in LA that have held on to some pretty dark and interesting energy. And we didn't know any of the spaces before we got there, so they did a really great job at not having us walk in with preconceived ideas or notions about what the space was or what had happened there. So it was really fun for us to get to walk through and sort of tap into the things that you can feel but maybe you can't see.
Okay. Got to ask about the future, though. If you three clicked on this, what would be the likelihood of seeing you pack up the show and do it like exercise some places in Chicago or New Orleans or New York and make this an annual thing?
Mean, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't do it because I do this ghost hunting stuff just for fun anyway because I'm weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, if someone wants to, throw a camera in there and have us do this, for a show, I'm not going to say no.
It does sound like a lot of fun. It's available on Tubi right now. It's called Celebrity Exorcism. Before I get you out of here, what's up next for Jodie Sweetin? What are you working on?
I'm continuing to work on my podcast, which is in season 4 right now, called Never Thought I'd Say This. It's a hilarious and inappropriate look at parenting. I'm working on my YouTube channel also with Never Thought I'd Say This. We do some fun content on there. Working on directing, writing some things. So just finished shooting a few other things that I can't talk about yet, which I hate because I'm really excited about them. But yeah, life is going good and staying very busy.
Well, let me know. Petitions, storming buildings, whatever I have to do to get Hollywood Darlings back, I'm in.
I am so with you on that. When the revolution for Hollywood Darlings to return begins, I'll make sure and let you know.
She is Jodie Sweetin. You can check out Celebrity Exorcism on Tubi right now. Jodie, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks. Be available at talk1073.com after the show this morning. My appreciation to Jodie Sweetin. As I said earlier, that had to be recorded on Friday, so I always like to give full disclosure when something's recorded and not live. Curious about, so she kind of ducked the question about what other 90s show could pull off the full-on reboot. And I got to tell you, it's Wings. The correct answer is Wings. We had Steven Weber on the show, as he's part of Chicago Med now, but totally they could pull that off. Celebrity exorcism is where celebrities are exorcising places. I was really hoping they'd be exorcising celebrities. Really. Wouldn't you hope? Anyway, appreciate Jodie Sweetin. She was just delightful from start to finish. Got a couple more minutes before we're checking Your Money Now and traffic. After we come back from traffic and Your Money Now, got one more segment to go. A lot more ground to cover, though. We're not anywhere near done. Hey, got to ask this question, and I've been debating which way I want to approach the topic. When it comes to the labor shortage in America right now, most of us, well, not most of us, but a lot of us, have been blaming the enhanced unemployment benefits. A new survey published by a magazine called Insider says there might be a different spot to blame here when it comes to the labor shortage. You look at restaurants are always understaffed. The number of people in retail is down as well. Survey. Rude shoppers are fueling America's crippling labor shortage. I hadn't even thought about this from this perspective. The labor shortage blame game has bounced between employers, workers, and jobless benefits. Business owners have accused workers of being lazy or disincentivized by expanded federal unemployment benefits, while workers say they're not paid enough for what they do and are seeking better pay, benefits, and schedules. But surveys suggest another group shoulders some of the blame. Consumers who have treated workers poorly and led some of them to quit their retail jobs and refuse to return to the industry. I'm curious how legit this actually is. Listen to this. In a poll of restaurant workers from earlier this year, 8 in 10 said that they had experienced hostile behavior from customers who didn't want to follow COVID-19 safety protocols. How many times have you seen it out in the real world? Forget about surveys, forget about the news, forget about what you see on social media. Have you seen this yet out in the real world? I know I've personally witnessed it twice. Where a poor little maitre d' at a restaurant asked the person to put on a mask and just got ripped to shreds about being a sheep, got ripped to shreds about how this was like complete overreach by the government, as if some maitre d' in a restaurant has any say or pull over whether or not there's a mask mandate. 8 in 10 said they had experienced hostile behavior from customers who didn't want to follow COVID-19 safety protocols. And it goes a lot deeper than just COVID-19. About half said they were considering leaving their jobs, and of that group, 4 in 10 said this was because of customer hostility and harassment. A survey of restaurant workers released in August yielded similar results. More than 2/3 said a key reason for the labor shortage was customer disrespect. I'm curious to get your take on this. Sound off on our YouTube page. Comment on our YouTube page. This is a good one to fire back at. Is there something to this? Like, I can't go a day. Okay, TikTok's a great example. You can't go more than a dozen videos without seeing a Karen scenario where someone is ripping a restaurant employer a new one because they didn't like the service, because they want a free meal. I want to talk to the manager. I come here all the time. Like, this level of entitlement on the customer's end, somewhere the customer always being right, turned into the customer being self-righteous. I wonder how much there is to this. At the same time, Labor Department data suggests workers in customer-facing roles are quitting at higher rates than in other industries. The agency's most recent job report shows that workers in hotels, food services, and retail quit at a higher rate in August than the record national rate that month. Meanwhile, the U.S. is short of 200,000 retail jobs. How would this play out in your world? Let me know on the YouTube page. I tell you what, we'll pause here. We'll check your money now. We'll check traffic, and we'll dive right back into it after this break. You're listening to Mornings with Brian Haldane right here on Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk. Did I finish all my live reads? All right. All right, y'all sound off on this one, man. I want some feedback. Do you need anything on Jodie Sweetin and celebrity exorcism to post up? Okay. All those stick around for tomorrow.
Previous hailstorms that caused hidden damage to countless Baton Rouge homes. Ryson Roofing spots the damage, makes the claim, and replaces your roof. You pay only your insurance deductible. Never anything more. Call Ryson Roofing today and schedule your free inspection. 330-3513. RysonRoofing.com.
Did you know that the leading cause of kitchen fires is unattended cooking? So when things heat up in the kitchen, it's important to keep an eye on what you fry. Make sure children stay away from the stove, and don't ever leave a pan unattended. If your pan does catch fire, turn the burner off and don't move the pan. And never, ever try to stop a grease fire with water. These fire safety tips are brought to you by Talk 1073 and Baton Rouge General's Regional Burn Center.
Dreams are important. They're also easy to set aside during hard times. At Hancock Whitney, we look out for your
Good. Right on time with the charger. No, I just need it plugged in for when I hop on the Teams meeting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, B. What am I thinking?
All good, man.
I just fallen in. Let's do that, baby.
Say again? I worked all day Saturday. 2:30 kickoff puts me in there. Yeah, before I can. 2:30 kickoffs. Like, I appreciate the fact that I'm not up until 3 o'clock in the morning, but I got to be there by 10:30, and I don't leave until 7:30. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm never allowed to sleep in, but if I were left to sleep, I would sleep. Yeah. Yeah, I slept until 8:30 Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My wife usually leaves for work around 8:15 because she goes to 9 o'clock mass before broadcasting the 10:30 mass. So, yeah, when she leaves for work on Sunday morning, she'll give the kids like a waffle or something and be like, just don't go wake up your dad. Yeah, it's like that lasts until it lasts about 15 minutes. I need some chocolate milk. Shut up, you don't. .856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. One more segment to go here on Mornings with Brian Haldane. So are rude customers to blame? Is the entitlement of the Karen to blame? I would imagine in some part, yeah, for the labor shortage. We were talking about it in our last segment. I'll continue it right here. A survey of restaurant workers released in August yielded similar results to another survey that we talked about in the last segment. More than 2/3 of restaurant workers say a key reason for the labor shortage was customer disrespect. I got a text during the break right there from a buddy of mine who works in a restaurant who says, I can't keep, he manages the scheduling of the staff. He says, I can't keep a regular schedule because I can't keep regular employees. I call them when they're not coming in, or I call them after they don't come in, and they say they're not coming back because of, and they will literally name customers. Like that person comes in, and they always ask for a refund, they always ask for money back, and they always belittle me, they always yell and shout, and then I get in trouble. I can't keep a full staff, and when I call them, they name specific customers. Sure, we can pick this up at another time, but it's an interesting topic. I mean, I always just assumed enhanced unemployment benefits. I mean, when you have enhanced unemployment benefits, you are reducing the need to go out there and work. Now, when you have unruly customers, you are reducing the desire to go out there and work. I'm sure somewhere in the middle, or when you combine the two, you get where we're at today. Two more things to touch on before we get out of here. The first of which is, hey, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change is going to be hosting a haunted car wash at their Segan Lane location coming up Friday and Saturday night, October 29th and 30th from 6 to 10 p.m. There will be the first hour, kid-friendly. Haunted car wash this coming Friday and Saturday. Benny's proud to bring the haunted car wash back for the first time in 15 years. All proceeds from both nights of the haunted car wash will be donated to Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Pretty cool stuff. I don't know what goes into a haunted car wash, but nonetheless, they're raising money for Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Tickets are $20 per car, available to purchase the night of the haunted car wash or on the website. No membership discounts are available on the night of the event. So, Benny's, Friday and Saturday night for a haunted car wash, whatever a haunted car wash is. What if you want to help out Our Lady of the Lake Children's and you're a little bit curious? Maybe swing by the Segan location Friday or Saturday. All right, be on the lookout. DOTD officials announced plans to widen the roadway between I-10 and the 10-12, between the I-10-12 split and College Drive. That's getting underway immediately, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to have new lanes that are going to be added for the right turn at College, what is now the shoulder or the grass area. You're going to have some connections to pavements, and you're going to have a different transition. Instead of I-12 being on the outside, it's going to be on the inside. I-10 will then be on the outside, said Sean Wilson. Officials say this will eliminate the weaving drivers that are forced to move all over the place. Be on the lookout for construction to start on that soon. Fox News Rundown's next. Thank you all for listening. All right. YouTube, I got to get. We've got our Monday morning meeting, so I will see y'all.